Hello everybody, welcome. Look at that, the music just crescendoed on the intro and it's doing it again. There you go, look, beautiful. That was almost perfectly synced. Hello everybody, welcome, part 15 of the Visions of Eternity Let's Play. I don't think this is the last episode. I think there's one more after this. And I'm only saying that because I don't know, like, how long one of these final quests for us to do is, but today we're kind of on the cusp, really, of having beaten everything. And when I say that, I actually mean, like, a lot. So, for Secrets of the Obscure, I wasn't that into being too completionist about it, because a lot of the side stories, a lot of the quests were requiring you to complete, like, events, like, basically go back through and on weird timers that you wouldn't understand, and that didn't seem too appetizing. This year, that's not really been much of a thing, which is great. In fact, it's not been a thing at all until the quest that we're going to do today. So that's been awesome. The other thing, though, was with Secrets of the Obscure and last year with Janthea Wilds, I had my account was in a place where, like, I wasn't getting all the achievements anymore. So, like, through Season 2, when a patch came out, when we got to go to Dry Top or the Silver Wastes, I would do all the stuff because I already had all the stuff and it just kind of felt natural to keep on top of it. When Season 3 came, when Heart of Thorns came out, I felt the same. I got that, like, Deus Ex Machina, actually I think it's just called Ex Machina, right, achievement and so on, where you had to get everything from every collection. When Season 3 was rolling out, you know, I had that completionist mindset and it was fun to fill in the holes, you know, like you think of your account, there's a bunch of unlocks that are possible, and you're filling in, like, each one's like a piece of a puzzle. It's satisfying. And, you know, I had so much fun during Season 3 doing that. I had so much fun with Bitterfrost Frontier. I had so much fun with Ember Bay. Bitterfrost Frontier, I actually think, for me personally, this isn't an objective fact, but for me personally and where I was as a fan, was my favourite release of all time. Just because of the range of things that they offered there. That was when the Nightmare Fractal came in and all of that. So anyway, you know, that's kind of how I tackle the game. But by the time End of Dragons came out, we had just gone through Dragonstorm, which was incredibly long, incredibly slow, incredibly grindy, and I lost track a bit with Dragonstorm, and then following that with End of Dragons, I didn't have all the pieces. So I kind of wasn't that enthusiastic about finishing the puzzle, so to speak. So I didn't get all the achievements for End of Dragons on launch. And then I wasn't that invested when the Get Out of Delve came out. And then when Secrets of the Obscure came out, and I did my Secrets of the Obscure Let's Play, I wasn't that invested. I wasn't that invested last year even with Janthea Wilds. But shortly before last Christmas, in fact shortly after last Christmas mostly, I kind of went in and backfilled everything. I went back to Dragonstorm. Champions, rather, specifically. I went back to... Oh, we can actually open the UI here. You know, I went back to about a year ago, slightly, you know, maybe 10 months ago. I filled in Champions, which this was full of shit to do. I filled that in. I filled in End of Dragons. I filled in the Interlude patch. I filled in Delve into the Haze, What Lies Within. I did all of Secrets of the Obscure. I did all of the Nyos stuff. That was around February this year, and it turned out actually Nyos is a really cool map if you're doing everything. And I went back to Janthea Wilds. So and then obviously I've been Let's Playing Completionist. So this year with Visions of Eternity, I'm very invested in getting and doing everything. I really am. And I've had a lot of fun. So for this LP, we kind of are finishing everything. So let's just talk about this here. Repentance and Absolution, I need to replay with voiceover. I'm not going to Let's Play those, okay? They might be interesting to listen to. Maybe I'll have an anecdote or two about it. I've got to dodge one of Seb's missiles here. For Act 1, we've got done already. Now, going to the maps, I've played a shit ton. So, for people watching this playlist off in the future, what you might not realise is between this episode and the previous episode, Arenanet announced Guild Wars Reforged. So this is a Guild Wars 1 update that is bringing it to the Steam Deck with some very minor graphical improvements. Mostly it's a UI thing. It's a collaboration they've done with another studio called 2 Weeks, which is made up of some old Guild Wars 1 heads. And, you know, there's some interesting stuff going on with Guild Wars Reforged. I've just done 3 videos in a row about it, and they're all pretty meaty. It's like an hour, and then 2 hours and a bit, and then another hour or was it another 2 hours? Like, we've talked and talked and talked and talked about it. It was a really difficult announcement for me to cover because I really want to be positive about it. I really want to be, you know, gung-ho and excited, and it is fantastic, right? It's fantastic that they funded stuff for Guild Wars 1, but I just think the release is a bit small. Well, it's half 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, really. It's the release feels a bit small for the big grandiose way in which they presented it. They've kind of given people the illusion that it's a remaster. And for some people, I even think it's a full-on remake or a full-on new game, which is just crazy, you know. And I'm very, very worried about people being misled by that. You know, like it is a huge announcement. People are so excited, but it really isn't what they think it is. And I'm really worried that that will put people off. They will, they'll try it and then they'll leave again. And then when real news does happen, if it happens, they're not gonna be there for that in the end. You know, like, they can only do this once, and I think they kind of fucked it, really. Like, they're changing the title, they're changing the name on Steam and everything for what is effectively just another update. And a good update if you own a Steam Deck, right? I don't poo-poo the update itself. So no, it's been very, very difficult to talk about because, you know, if there's one video that I want to be classic WP, positive, you know, hype-focused WP, if there's one thing that I want that for, it's when they go back to Guild Wars 1. And unfortunately, I couldn't do that in an authentic way. And, you know, it's always sucky when it gets a bit negative, the atmosphere, because it sort of reveals people that are only watching you for positivity. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we've already talked about this shit. So anyway, yeah, that's been going on. I do want to note, as far as this Let's Play is concerned, we had a long discussion the other day about how they're adding pets to Guild Wars 1 as a part of Extra Life. So this weekend, before the Reforged announcement, they did a stream where they said they were adding pets to Extra Life. And I did a long discussion in this Let's Play about how I was a bit miffed about that. Because it's like, wow, I want new content for Guild Wars 1. They say it's off the table, but it will be on the table as soon as they add pets. Now, hopefully, we all understand why it's on the table. It's not just because of Extra Life. It's not because their priorities are for that rather than anything else. It's because it's a part of this broad push that's happening right now to go back to Guild Wars 1. They're reforging Guild Wars 1, so to speak, and so the idea of just putting some pets in, that's on the table so they can do it. It's not that Extra Life is this special thing and they want to prioritize that above all else. And I just want to note, okay, I defended my opinion about that quite stringently on that Let's Play episode, and I went on and on and on about it. I did know at the time about Reforged. I just couldn't talk about Reforged at the time. So that entire conversation, I knew the asterisk. I knew... Oh, it's because of Reforged, really. But I couldn't say that. So I just had to be real to what my opinion would have been had I not known about Reforged. And my opinion would have been to be miffed. So I acted miffed that entire conversation. But yeah, so I actually think the pet thing's fine. Just by the way. Because obviously it's a part of Reforged. Normal people wouldn't have been in the position to know that. So I think it was an authentic viewpoint to have had over this weekend. So, you know. Anyway, there you go. Speaking about going on and on and on about it, I'm a little bit nervous, actually. So, look, I don't want to be in the business of talking shit about other content creators, right? Whether they're in Guild Wars, certainly not if they're in Guild Wars, or anywhere even remotely associated with me. But just anywhere, I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk shit about Souls streamers. I don't want to talk shit about, you know, Impressions games streamers. I don't know, something really wacky and weird. You know, Plants vs. Zombies streamers. They just did that remaster, right? And, that's actually getting negative reviews on Steam, which is so disappointing to me, because that's something that I really wanted to play. But I was reading the reviews, and they don't actually seem that bad, so I don't know, maybe it's just people being hyper picky. Anyway, I don't want to talk shit about other people. But I'm going to do it a little bit here. Just a little bit. So obviously, I've been looking at the Steam frame and, you know, following the Valve hardware release stuff. And, a lot of people have been referencing the tech channel, Linus Tech Tips. And I've always sort of vaguely seen their content and thought, you know, he seems like a good guy. It seems like a nice business. You know, that there's always these controversies, like huge controversies blowing up, and I just think people are way too invested in it. And at the end of the day, you can say, oh, it's not informative enough, or it's misinformation sometimes. Oh, it's only entertainment, blah, 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 blah. Like, ultra picky, nerdy kind of conversations. I've never really cared about any of that. As far as I could see, sort of an alright channel, whatever. But while I'm reading, like, on Reddit and stuff about these hardware announcements, I keep seeing random messages from just users saying shit like, I despise Linus. I despise him. And I look at people like that, and I think, first of all, that's rude. You never know who's reading, right? Like, don't say that about... Even if you think they're not in the room, they can easily be in the room, right? So to speak. They can easily find the forum thread. They can easily find the channel. It's very, very, very rude. Speaking for myself, right? It's the worst experience in the world to see shit like that. But, I've always thought, like, how fucking down the rabbit hole are you? Like, what do you mean you despise this person? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? So anyway, I ended up tuning into their podcast. I've never, ever, ever listened to their podcast at all. And you know, the whole time I was thinking, you know, this is an interesting vibe. They're kind of adversarial to one another, but they're very smiley and friendly, and they actually seem quite secure about defending their opinions. It's not in a toxic way that they're adversarial. You know, and they were discussing the pros and cons of the Steam machine. And then they started talking about the Steam controller. And the fact that the new Steam controller they're releasing has the same name as the previous one, which is not a big deal. And oh my... Here's the shit talk, right? Here's my shit talk. Oh my god, did he go on about it? Oh my god. And everyone's like trying to move the conversation on and like, okay, it's not a big deal. No, 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 no. We're staying. We're talking about this. And he went on and on and on and on and on. Okay, and look. The only reason, and so I bring this up, right, because to go back to the start of my anecdote, I'm a bit nervous right now because I was really put off by watching that. I was super put off. I was like, oh, fuck, this guy's like, oh, this is like too much. This is like prickish almost, like, again, I'm not trying to be too mean or whatever, but basically I reflect on that. I was like, oh, God, that's me. That's me. That's me with, like, you know, topic A, B, or C. That's me talking about Dragonstorm or whatever. And it was a real moment where a mirror got held up to me. I was like, oh, no. This is what it's like to be in the WoodenPotatoes audience. Oh, no. The rants don't come across... You know, you like to think that you're this great hero, this great warrior of discourse. Yeah, stand up for yourself. You know, authenticity, blah, blah, blah. But no, you just look like a ranting lunatic. So I'm gonna try and dial it back. And so I was watching that, and I was thinking about the Reforged stuff, and I was thinking, all right, okay. Let's rein it in, you know. Because he really believed in what he said. But he was going on about, like, stuff like... There's no logic to it. There's no logic. Because there's no logic, that must mean that they're liars or they're stupid. Which one is it? Are they liars or are they stupid? I mean, I don't say shit like that. And there is logic, obviously. I mean, if he's honestly scrutinized it, there is logic to why they would name the new controller the same as the old one. It's because they want to bury the idea of the old one. Because they consider the idea of the old one to be a blemish. And they're happy for the SEO over time to just completely replace the old one. They're happy to move on from that chapter completely. You know, they might do a Steam controller too, but with the new, you know, like wider design and how they're, you know, the new standards that they're doing, they're trying to bury the old one. There is logic, all right? You might not necessarily agree with that logic, but it's pretty obvious. You don't have to be in tech to see that, all right? It's not rocket science. And to go on and on and on and on about it when there's this very obvious thing staring you in the face, I think that's what put me off. But what I have to understand is, you know, maybe when I get on my well, definitely when I get on my high horse, there's something obvious. I don't know, man. I spend a long time reading your comments, all right? And I do think if people bring interesting arguments to the table, I platform them. I don't just, like, shut it down. I don't know, though. I don't know. Maybe I do. Anyway, there you go. So there's my insecurity. That's what's going on. Let's talk a little bit about what we've been doing. A lot, as it happens. So because of those 3 days with Guild Wars Reforged, I had a lot of opportunity to play the game. If you've been following me on Blue Sky, I did a couple of tweets. Oh, shit. I'm unprofessional. I don't have some screenshots. Okay, so there was a patch. The big VOE patch has happened. There's a lot to read and look at with that. So, we'll check that out. But so, for example, over at Pub Canuck now. Here we go. there's a jukebox now. I don't know what kind of amazing, mind-blowing thing you guys are expecting me to say there. There's 5 new story chapters! Yeah, you know, it's a QOL patch. Hold your expectations in line. But, there's a jukebox. I love this bit. The soothing sounds of the beach. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was getting screenshots of the patch notes. Okay, take advantage of that there. That was pretty smooth, was it? Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, I did a little thing about that. Another thing that I talked about, okay, so it's running into achievements that I've been getting. Over in Visions of Eternity Castora, skimming the seas, okay? So you've got to get Skimmer scanned chest in each region of the game. Not just Corteria, the game. So Ascalon, Kryta, Tarnished Coast plus Steam Spur, which is kind of one region in code and for a lot of achievement collections. The Ruins of Ore and the Ring of Fire. Now, Ring of Fire means what? That Living World is included in this. Crystal Desert if you own POF. Cantha if you own EOD. I don't know what this achievement says or asks you to do if you don't own those expansions. But this is another example. It's very easy to forget little moments like this, but this is another example of when they cross-pollinate features across the expansions, which I think is great. Janthir from last year, and then we've got Castora, the Heart and the Horn of Maguma, by the way, got bundled together, which is kind of nice. And I've loved this. So this is 90% great with one caveat. So I did a tweet on Blue Sky. A tweet or a post. I posted on Blue Sky. Come on, man. Just get used to saying that. This is fucking awesome. And I have to say something. I was wrong about the Skimmer. I want to update my opinion on the Skimmer mastery. And I'm going to shoo Debbie away. No, I don't want to go away. I'm going to get rid of Debbie for a second, all right? Let's kick her out of the room. Debbie was sitting here going, it's not very good. The only thing I like is the scanning. And so I do still like the scanning. But the skill 2, this skill is actually awesome. Slipstream boost is actually really good. And on all told, I think that this mastery line is actually really awesome. So the sky scale improvements were really good, and the sky scale is an excellent mount, right? And it was a new opportunity to get the sky scale without having to do all the crazy Secrets of the Obscure stuff, Season 4 stuff, which was good. Plus, you got the Niosian sky scale and all that shit. The Warclaw, oh my god, the Warclaw. What an incredibly powerful mount. It can effectively fly, let's be real, especially if you have the Bond of Vigor. Really, really, really powerful. So how could the Skimmer compete? And through the whole Let's Play so far, I've been thinking to myself, it hasn't competed. And I don't know whether that's wrong, because power creeping mounts all the time isn't necessarily great either. But I think Arenanet nailed it. I think this is really strong, really powerful, and actually stays in its lane. It doesn't replace the sky scale. It doesn't replace the Warclaw. It effectively replaces the Raptor and all that, but you know, those other mounts are guilty of that too. This is amazing, and it's because of Slipstream's boost, and it's something that I didn't understand about Slipstream boost. And that's the fact that it's just a straight up movement increase. It's just movement. Look, Slipstream boost. Movement speed increase 40%. Now, you might read 40 and think that's a low number, but don't forget that's 40 on top of what's already quite a fast mount. especially if you've done the Lion's Arch skimmer stuff too, right? Because it doubles up. I was only thinking about slipstream boost in terms of how it could get me in the air, right? This. And there's that thing, the more you raise from the ground, the less you notice the speed that you've increased, right? Kind of like a principle in aviation perception and all that, right? Like not even just aviation, just in general, right? It's very easy to not notice that. But if you use slipstream boost and you just stay on the floor, it is obvious, actually. It's a fucking huge boost, right? So just moving around on the skimmer and just tap the 2. And oh look, now when we have this use case, it doesn't interrupt the animation. You do get the pretty little spin. In fact, I've noticed the spin, by the way. If you look on the mini map here, because it was underneath this. If you look on the mini map, you know, you've got the cone showing what direction we're facing. When I use slipstream boost, ready? If you watch here, we actually do the little spin on the minimap too, which I quite appreciate. I know that that's just a happy accident of how the game's made, but, you know, one of the nice little examples of the high polish and, you know, QOL that's on the Guild Wars 2 UI. So anyway, slipstream boost, just flying around on the skimmer and tapping the 2 every now and then is very fast, very comfortable, very relaxing, really good, especially in Castoria where there's lots of like little swampy areas or shipwrecked, beachy, watery areas. It's just excellent. And it's excellent underwater as well. So down we go. So this achievement has you scanning for like the shiver peaks. And honestly, I had so much fun just like being a bit under the surface because chests can appear anywhere around here. And it really made me realize and remember just how deep the waters are in Frostgorge and how fun the exploration is just underwater now that we've essentially got this like, you know, underwater, you know, vehicle basically, right, where we can move around really quickly. I have to say, guys, so there you go. Your skimmer's detected something. There's a chest nearby. Is it high? Is it low? Oh, it's sort of in the middle here. We can swim in. We can grab it. It's just, it's really immersive. It's really ambient. I definitely recommend in the quiet of the morning, guys. If you want some brain off grind, if you want some time to reflect on all the ways in which you go on and on and on about things like a certain podcast you might have just watched, all right? If you want to reflect on whether you were too toxic about the release of Guild Wars Reforged, if you want to reflect on, you know, I don't know, pets or whatever, you know, do this. This achievement chain is awesome. And I've had a lot of fun with this. And as I said on Blue Sky, this has made me a big believer in like just an underwater map. Like I've never really been a big believer in that. People have always said, people say, let's do an underwater expansion and let's have an underwater combat overhaul. Okay, first of all, I don't believe in an underwater combat overhaul. I never have. Guild Wars has already hit an extremely high bar as far as underwater combat is concerned when compared with its peers. I don't think underwater combat is great, and I believe in some refinements, sure, but I don't even really know specifically what refinements we'd be talking about. But in terms of exploration and stuff, classically, I haven't really been a believer in a big underwater map because it's like, well, what do you do? But I do believe in it now. I believe in swimming around on a skimmer really fast. This scanning thing is quite a novel and fun little interaction. And basically just like bubbles of air, right? So like if you know, the idea isn't to do much combat, the idea isn't to linger too long, but basically have a map that's a huge map but plays a lot like this, where you sail around like this underwater, for want of a better term. You scuba around and you're like moving from pocket to pocket to pocket, you know? For anyone who watched my Final Fantasy XIV LP from a few years ago when I did Stormblood Blind, you know, like the bubbles underwater in Stormblood around Doma, or, you know, the Star Wars Episode 1 thing. That kind of thing. If there were pockets of air, I think it could be really good. It's amazing how deep Frostgorge is and how much there is here. And, you know, so I actually specifically knew I just wanted to show that in the LP at some point, and there it is. So I just finished skimming the seas, Shiver Peak Mountains. So what I have left is Cantha, the Heart and the Horn of Maguma, and Janthir. The one issue I've had with this achievement is it seems to be daily gated. Arenanet, that's awful. Like, you do a certain number of chests, and eventually I was getting an error message saying you have participated in too much of this content for today. Like, I'm not joking. It seriously said that to me. You have participated in too much of this content for the day. Like, not only... Like, I'm not too much of a pissy pants about daily gated stuff. I know that there have been some forum warriors, you know, in the early days of Guild Wars 2 that absolutely rage and rebel against that. I've never been that upset about daily gating, but do it in kind of a... What's the term? How am I trying to describe this? Don't do it in such an inauthentic way, you know. Do it via a chest, but you can only get the chest once a day or something like that. A big red error message generically telling me I'm not allowed to participate in the content. I mean, what is that? I don't even really understand why that is a daily gate. I suspect it might be because of unusual coins. So, like, through all the previous expansions, I only have 1,418 ancient coins. So that's End of Dragons onwards. I only have 1,400. I have over 1,000 of all the currencies here on this map, which is quite interesting. But these chests are crazy for coins. Just this one expansion. No. Just doing this achievement. I've already doubled that. I've got 1,400 in the current season. I have 1,468 unusual coins right now. Throughout all the previous expansions, I only managed to collect 1,418. Like, I actually have more. So maybe they were concerned, but this is an epic unusual coin farm as well, guys. Now, you can't really spend them on anything good this year. But next year, when they become ancient, you know, all those... Actually, I don't... What do you even really spend these on? I don't know. Anyway, so maybe that's why it's daily gated. I couldn't tell you. All right, well, there you go. See, look, I'm nervous. I'm going on and on and on about it, aren't I? So there you go. Aside from that, this is not obtainable yet, Tropical Explorer, because we're waiting for the new maps. Beachcombing I have done. It's repeatable. You don't actually get anything at each repetition. A bit like Agent of Entropy, I guess. And then these two are for armors. So there's the most extreme, get all the Extremis armor, and the Restless Captain, get all of these pieces. So on that note, I have Restless Captain gloves, Extremis boots, 2 Extremis shoulders, and the Extremis leggings. So let's see where that gets us. I've earned these tokens just by logging in, doing the renown hearts, doing the metas, and some occasional mirrors. So that's all I've done, really. But I have got the odd token now. As far as I know... Yeah, I only have a Restless Captain glove token, and I already have the gloves. So I've made 0 progress on that, which is a bit of a shame, because I quite like this set. Now, actually looking at the achievement, if I remember rightly, it does tell you what you get them from. So this is from Obscured Chests, which I think is from doing mirror runs. And that makes sense to me, because I don't really do many mirror runs on this map. I don't know why, I just kind of haven't got around to it. So mirror runs would give me the helmet. From doing mirrors themselves will give me the shoulders. So mirror runs there again. And the chest piece is getting lucky at the meta event. And I guess I just haven't got lucky. I have done the meta quite a few times. If you have a look at my currencies here, I have 1,600 Aether Rich Sap. And in terms of the material, I have 600 now. So I'm working on my 3rd stack. I need a lot of sap if I want to get all the rewards. If I want to get the emotes, if I want to get the minis, if I want to get the tonics, I need a lot. So I will be playing this map quite regularly for quite a long time. So hopefully I get the chest piece at that point there. Finally, there is this. It's the leggings. And you only get the leggings from doing the adventures. Now, that is not something I would have had incentive to do otherwise. So I actually really like that. And I'm going to go do one adventure right here just to see if we get lucky. So every day I should probably add the adventures to my, you know, my little routine. And I know for some people it's a bit cringy to hear about routines while playing video games and all that stuff. But it's really not a big deal. And, you know, I'm having fun. It's just, like, you can think of it as a chore list, but I tend to think of it as...
Got a skimmer and enough skill to blast him away.
And this is going to sound very shilly, all right? I tend to think of it, though, as... Oh, God, we have to go through all the nets on this one, don't we? Shit. Like, I literally would have nothing to do otherwise. I would have nothing to do, and I'm having fun doing it. So, like, what's the problem, you know? Like, It's nice to have something. Like, I've been enjoying when festivals come up lately, because it's like, oh, I can actually, you know, do something in the game for a while. And then as soon as the festival ends, it just feels a bit weird. Okay, we definitely missed that net. I now realize this adventure is harder than I took it credit for, because this skill 2 speeds you up so much and also reduces your turn speed. But you can go so much faster by getting the timing right on it. So there's actually quite a lot to this adventure. I thought it was quite linear. So yeah, I was unfair to the Skimmer Masteries. I actually think they've been a big win this expansion. Well done. Bravo. Next year, Sandjackal? I guess, maybe? I don't know. What do you guys think will be the next one? They could, of course, just move on from doing a mount every mini-X pack. And I actually think that wouldn't be a bad idea. The more years that they do one in a row, the more players are going to cling to it as an expectation, even if it can't be fulfilled. Because, you know, people don't really assess what the state of the product is. It's like when people talk about Guild Wars Utopia and don't really think about all the problems that we're building up with Guild Wars 1. I did a video on that once. There were a lot of balance issues, a lot of, like, gear issues. There was a lot of, like, shit that needed to be sorted out. Anyway, there we go. We didn't even get gold there. But what? Can it come out of these chests? Is that the idea? Anyway. So there you go. So, yeah, that's this map. Let's go have a look at the Extremist skins, which I do have a couple more. I have done the meta every day here, but I didn't get the chest piece. But all the other pieces I think I do have, actually. And I want to talk about the Extremist art. Oh my god, everything's flowing so nicely today. All the topics are segueing into each other perfectly. I'm not having that little moment where I think of one topic and then I have to put it to a side because we're mid-rant. And then it gets forgotten. So there you go. There's the shoulders and the leggings. And it's just a bit of karma. These things are so expensive to buy straight out. But I don't disagree with this. I actually think this is quite clever on Arenanet's part. Because it looks like such a major discount, it kind of creates the feeling this is prestige gear. When if they had just given me the coat directly off of the meta, I wouldn't have thought anything about it, really. But now it feels like a bigger reward, you know. So yeah, I need the gloves and the coat as far as this piece is concerned. This set is concerned. No, that's Restless Captain. Here you go, the most extreme. Chest is from the meta. Gloves is occasionally from events. So, speaking of events, now, I've done a lot on both maps over the past 2 days. On both maps. And I'm basically done with them. Okay, so we already went through the story journal. If we look at the Renown Hearts, I'm at 12 out of 14, 12 out of 14, 10 out of 14. So I'm nearly done. I've nearly seen all the dialogue updates and all of that. Which is nice. They are okay. And then we just have the repeatable version over the next couple of days to get 15 AP. 15 sweet AP from each. Look at that. That's like 100 AP there almost. Well, no, 60. But still, it's pretty good. As for the maps themselves, oh, look, guys. Whoa. Starlit World. That's just daily Bird Benefactor. That's daily Inquest Hologram. That's daily... so that's the 2 jumping puzzles. So I actually only have 4 achievements left on this entire map. 4 achievements. I've done all of the other ones. So what are some stories for you all? First of all, there's a lot of dialogue that has not appeared on this LP. That is a lot of fun. One of the achievements I did is to complete 7 different events. And every single one of those events is a group event. Arenanet, I think that's amazing. It's a really good idea. So, like, to me, Guild Wars is a game where it's so frictionless and so, like everything's a loot pinata. There's no, like, meaning to any of the exploration in the open world. There's no sense of real camaraderie. There's no sense of actually grouping up. There's no sense that people are really helping each other because these events are going to finish anyway. I can solo all of these events. And if anything, it can be a bit annoying when someone else comes over, especially when it's like one of those delivery events and you see it scaled up now. And now, instead of having to cash in 5, I'm being asked to cash in 9 because everyone else is much slower and stuff, right? So it doesn't really feel co-op. But this year, they've done this achievement. There are 9 group events. They're not meta events. They're single events. But they are group events, and they are fucking hard to do on your own. And so you do this achievement going through all of them. It's called Leading from the Front. And I had a blast with this. I had so much fun. Actual, meaningful, cooperative MMO fun. I asked people in the Spud Club if they wanted to help out. I asked people in map chat. I typed thank you to people that were in the area. You know, I said hello to people. Why? Because it was a joy seeing other people come around. Now, there's like 7 of them to do. All of them are events where they are initiated by speaking to an NPC. So you're not like on a timer, so you can just go to the NPC, you can wait, you can call out in map chat, hey guys, does anyone want to help me with an event? There's an achievement here. You can throw up a tag, or a mentor tag, I suppose. And you can say, on me, you know, near this waypoint. They got me talking. They got me socializing. They got me treating it like an MMO, okay? It's like the genre came back. And you know, it's just for a bit of an AP, and it's just for a bit for the completionist, and that sucks. And we can have those conversations about getting more people into getting for AP. But that stuff aside, right? Like, the actual idea is brilliant. Don't drop this. Every expansion, every patch should have this idea. Every map should have this idea. This is a true improvement on the Guild Wars formula as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, just like when they realized they could bring hearts back in with Ember Bay, right, all those years ago. Do this. Keep doing this. It's very, very, very good. And what's the other complaint? I don't like group events. I can't do it on one. Yeah, well, guess what, mate? You got 99% of the fucking game for you anyway, all right? Yeah, you're going to miss out on that 1 AP. You were missing out on AP anyway because there's AP tied up in strikes, and there's AP tied up in raids, and there's AP tied up in world versus world, and there's AP tied up in PvP, and they're all cooperative areas where you need other people anyway. There is no downside to this. There is no complaint or quibble from what I can see. Yeah, I like it. I think it's very good. More, please. So I liked that. And all of them had good dialogue and stuff, you know? There were... my favourite event was a guy called Cracks, I think, or something. I think he's up right now. This isn't a group event. And I think all the group events were perfectly tuned as well, where they were tricky, and they really were... Like, I failed 2 of them. One even with a group, but on the second attempt, always got them down. It had more people there. You know, you can type and explain a thing or two. It's just good. And Arenanet shouldn't be scared of group events. And I get worried about the studio because I feel like, you know, there'll be a message on the forums of someone saying, oh, I can't complete it. So then they like flinch of it. But there's so much that you gain. There's so much you gain from a little bit of friction sometimes. All right. Don't worry. You've covered your bases. Enough of the game is accessible. This guy, this is amazing. The story on this isn't one of the group events, but this is this dude, right?
The commander! Don't kill me! I surrender! Please! I've left the inquest. I couldn't stomach it, not after Seb sticked his raptors on my lab technicians. I had to clean up the mess after, and now the experiments are running wild. Please, if you can help me collect enough parts, maybe I can craft a device to calm them down.
So this guy, I'm not going to do the event, but that guy talks about Vlox, and he talks about Seb. He talks about how Vlox was a good guy that actually was interested in his device, but Seb kind of turned it into this gross thing about manipulating the wildlife. And it was just cool to actually hear these main characters being talked about in that way in one of the side events. I thought that one was really novel. So by the way, just another little anecdote for you guys. I'm telling you all, this build is obscene. This is one of the strongest builds that you can play in Guild Wars. Copy this build. This is not a build video, alright? Seriously, get your regeneration duration as high as possible. I'm at 94 without food, okay? And your healing power as high as possible, so I'm using a lot of minstrels at the moment, right? And run an water otter heal build with evasive arcana. This is the true big thing here. Because you can dodge roll to heal people substantially, and it gives you charges of more otters. And spam the shit out of water staff cooldowns. Spam the shit out of this for Aegis. Spam the shit out of this for resistance and stability. Trust me, this is so strong. Like, you can solo heal 50 people in a meta event. You like I've done this meta many times now, and like I'll be up here healing, and some player will take a tick of my regen and swap. And I won't have asked them to do it, they'll just do it. And I will only ever be up here, But the event will end and I'll get like bronze reward over here and I'll get a bronze reward over here because the healing is that long lasting and lingers on that many players. And when players go down state and you can spam like fucking triple geysers because you like have a geyser, you press F and there's another geyser and it happens to be when your big cooldown refresh comes, so you did it again. You're just rezzing. It's just you're just hearing like the... I wish I had footage for it and I wish I could really get it on the Let's Play, but I can't. I've never played a heal build like this where, you know, when you res someone, you get a tick of experience, and you know when you get experience, there's a sound cue on the experience coming into the XP bar. That whoosh noise. Healing on this build when these like damage phases come in on these bosses. So over for the twins, it's like when she throws the red fields out, right? Which bleed, by the way, and you're cleansing the bleeds. Once people start going down, for this meta, the damage phase is when those like that X of lightning appears that's spinning, and you're supposed to spin with it, but nobody does. They just stand in the very epicenter and get nuked. Once that happens and you're healing, all you hear is the sound effect of XP coming in because you're getting res like across 50 players. It's so fun. The build is not a perfect build. It has very limited CC. It doesn't have barrier. It doesn't have super speed. It could have better uptime than these other things. But it is sick alacrity. It is sick passive healing. It is epic resurrection capability. So it's fun. You know, it is for me my favorite open world healing build right now. I genuinely mean it. You can have 49 players and one healer, this healer, and you'll be all right. Genuinely. As far as these metas are concerned. I mean, I don't know whether I'd trust it at Dragon's End. Maybe pick 2 of them. But yeah, so by the way, you'll notice if I swap my thing here, the heal skill changed color. It didn't just change color, the entire icon's different. We can now see the fox here. If we change, we can now see the toad, and it's yellow and brown. And if we go to the hare, we can see the hare, and it's the hare's colors. So that's a part of the new patch as well. I'm actually going to change my build now. Let's play Evoker. Do I have an Evoker build set up? Tempest, Tempest, Weaver, Evoker, Catalyst, Catalyst, Evoker. There you go.
Let the storms rage.
All right, this is a this was my Champion Slayer setup, but this is so not a Champion Slayer. Bountiful Power? No fucking way is this a Champion Slayer. I mean, we can do this. All right, Hammer, Specialized Elements, Hair. I don't know. That's a weird mix we haven't seen in the series yet. So there you go. Okay, back to achievements and lists. What else? Okay, so let's talk about some of the achievements on the Starlit World that I don't have and won't be appearing in the Let's Play. And by the way, this is kind of my end of series sum up here for you all. One of the... So Can't Fool Me is killing the Gwildels in the meta. This one is slow. You can get maybe 2 or 3 Gwildels per meta event, as far as I can see. My advice is bring a lot of CC, because it's breaking their break bars that's killing them. Bring a lot of CC. Use the EMP. Someone will drop an EMP. Use it, because the EMP has a ridiculous radius on it, and you might get lucky. Yeah, I've had runs where I swear I'm breaking lots of break bars, but I only get a little bit of progress. And I've had runs where I swear I don't break many and I get a lot. So I don't know. Maybe it depends on if I'm playing the healer or not. I've got that in contribution scales, weirdly. I don't know on that one. This one here, Wavehawk Savior. It says free trapped Wavehawks throughout the Starlit World. Now, you have not seen... I have 9 out of 50. You didn't see me get any of those 9. On the last episode, I was on 0 out of 50. I had never seen this mechanic. Never appeared at all throughout the entire Let's Play or off-screen play. So what is this? Well, I had looked at it, and I thought this was going to be a bit like the Wavehawk Scritcher from the previous map. You know, where you go and pet all the Wavehawks? There's like 50 of them to do. Sidebar, by the way, I have done that as well now. And it was really quick and really easy, and the wiki map was amazing. They're all like in just some very localized areas, so it wasn't a problem at all. I thought it'd be a nightmare, but it was very quick and fun. So anyway, I thought that that's what this was as well, Wavehawk Scritcher. It's not. What this actually is there's a couple of events on this map where inquests have Wavehawks in test tubes, and you break the test tube, and it frees the Wavehawk. But those events, now we were talking about this in-game in the guild. And by the way, again, one final point. If you guys want a community, you can send me, request an invite. We are still inviting people into Spud. Obviously, it's getting quieter now as people move on from the game. But so, there are some events that spawn these test tubes, and they seem to be bugged. Like, they only appear once per mega server or something. And they're very rare. I don't know about... They're either bugged or I don't understand the mechanic to get them to spawn. Because I spent a lot of time on this map, and I only seen the event twice, ever. And from that, I got 9 wave hawks. They're asking you for 50. So this is like semi-bugged, maybe? I don't know. I don't really know how to get that. And that's even post-patch. So do the meta with Can't Fool Me, Wave Hawk Savior. There's this one here. It's called Rampage Router. Now, I'd like to do that today on this video, right here, right now. Complete the Defend the Camp from the Wildlife Attack event without any tents being destroyed. So this is like a bonus achievement. I assume it's here. I assume... Because this heart area can be attacked, and there are repair kits, and you can rebuild stuff. This. Here, defend the Priory Camp from the Inquest raid. I'm going to tag up. Now, I may need to ask your help, dear live viewers, for this, because I've never seen this succeed. They always manage to break shit. I've always failed at this. See, this is a real problem here. I cannot recharge my hair fast enough. Hair, like, kind of sucks. And the Evasive Arcana strat isn't really that fun either. Because it just blinds. And it's not actually giving me a charge, it looks like. Which is a real problem. So yeah, I don't know. Like, doing this without any tents being broken. I think this is the event. If you guys want to do it with me, I'm in-game right now. I'm playing on European servers. This is EU. I'm pretty sure this is EU. And all you have to do is type in your chat box /squadjoin list. I've just posted it in the live chat there, guys. But what you can also do is just copy-paste that out of the live chat on YouTube into your in-game box for anyone watching this live. And we'll try to get this together, I guess. But so this is a tricky achievement as far as I can see. And I'm going to need to play a better build for this. It's no wonder I'm not playing hair. It's because it's just... Ugh. What's my other weapon? Dagger, Warhorn. It's like there's repair kits. There's like this barricade, Western supplies. I don't know. Can the tents break? DAE87 says it's not this event, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure this achievement's for the north of the first heart. Ah, that would explain then. So it's not that the tents always break. Well, we can do it together anyway. I'll go idle over at that area once this is complete. By the way, I've got loads of tokens now. 35 tokens, 21 tokens. I've really hit my stride in terms of like knowing what's a comfortable way to get the hearts done. I just want to say, by the way, a bit of a criticism of VOE. This heart is fucking terrible. This one, the Hunter's Camp. It's buggy. It's weird. It's shoddily designed. Like, you go digging in the... I'll show you, because this hasn't done it. So we'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, okay, so the final achievement is this. It's called Emergent Metamorphosis. So Wavehawks, Rildels, defend the camp, and then there's this. It's called Emergent Metamorphosis. Now this is interesting. You guys didn't see any of this. It says scour Castora to find the parts needed to power up the deactivated Chrysalis. The who and the what and the where now? The deactivated Chrysalis. So yeah, I did an event. I think it was the meta. I just got lucky, guys, on this map. I was just doing events, and I got a random item. It was called the Deactivated Chrysalis back piece. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that existed. So check it out. There it is on my back. It's like an Asuran Inquesty looking techie thing. And I thought, wow. And you know what this is like, guys? You remember in Sandswept Isles, there was the golem that you could build for a back piece, like that extra little collection there, the Mark III golem back or whatever it was called. It's kind of like that. That's a part of this expansion, and it's a cool back piece. So you get lucky with the drop, which unlocks the achievement, the collection. I guess this one is, and then there's all these other things start dropping for me. Concealed micro thruster from doing the meta, which I got. The expanded power source was occasionally found in obscured chests, which I got. The superconductor cable. Complete either of these 2 random events. The reinforced lens. Now this is asking me to complete the Ziff event in Shipwreck Strand. So I'm going to go and do that, and I'll get a reinforced lens. And finally, an upgraded hologram emitter, which I buy from the Quartermaster. So I'm going to go do that, especially if that defend the camp thing is up.
Things are coming along, but
so here's the Quartermaster.
just yet.
And here he is. He's selling an upgraded hologram emitter for 20 gold. And you might think, well, okay, is this really that good? Actually, it's fucking awesome. Okay, so let's preview the actual reward now. Right, the fully upgraded backpack is called the Emergent Metamorphosis Backpiece. I don't know whether there's something lore-related that's going on here. Look at that! Oh my god! Okay, I just want to note, right, in Liss's outfit here, I dyed it red, right? To be kind of inquesty. That also happened off screen, and I think is very good, and I regret not doing the whole Let's Play with her looking red. Evil inquesty Liss here, this is. But you see, like, the hollow stuff that comes off the plating. This is an old outfit. It's an old outfit. Now, look at the back piece. The back piece follows that visual language. Look at it. It's like it's a perfect extension of these clothes. And it's like, it's a bit like a bug, and it's inquesty. Again, it kind of feels a bit goricky or something. That's a cool backpack. I want to run that. I really do. So we're going to unlock that here on this stream. That looks fucking awesome. And you unlock a glider version of it, which is even cooler, says Turtle Emoji. So nice. I like an achievement for a bit of AP, but you know what I like even more? An achievement that gives me a meaningful skin. And it's very difficult to get me excited about skins at this point when there's hundreds of already interesting ones. What I will say is the outfit sucks. It sucks. Under the current Guild Wars 2 like play environment, outfits kind of suck because they're not build swappable. Like when I swap build, what I would like, right, is to have a template called Inquest Liss. And so she looks like an Inquest when she is on her Champion Slayer build, right? When she's on her Zakiros Demolisher setup, she looks like this. But because, and that works for regular armor, but because this is an outfit, it kind of doesn't work. So if I want to do this back piece to pair with this outfit, like I have to remember to toggle this outfit on each time, and I have to change the outfit's dyes each time, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. So this will be fun for now, but there's going to come a point where I want to swap, and I don't want to look like an Inquest anymore, and then it's just dead and gone, right? It's just... So like currently, she has the Sarik's back piece, because she's not meant to have an outfit, and it kind of just kills outfits. That's the big problem with this. It makes outfits unappetizing, and that hits your bottom line, Arenanet. So, you know, let's not, you know. And you have to do this weird toggle as well, because if I leave this back piece on, and now I want to go back into the Inquest thing, well, now the back piece kind of doesn't fit, so I have to remember, and they're on totally different tabs. Fiddly. Fiddly, 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 fiddly. I hope fashion templates resolve some of this stuff. Okay, so we're looking for an event north of this tent. Let's see here. I have a lot of exciting things to continue talking about here, guys. Oh, so there's this one, right? This was another achievement I did.
There may still be some hope for the ones the Inquest have taken. I need to know how they are programmed. You can bring me samples of their hardware.
It's this event up here. See here, look, the Skimmer, right? Just get on the Skimmer and tap 2. Right? The Skimmer's actually very... And, like, for small, low-hanging obstacles, the flying is excellent there. It's way better than I gave it credit for. It's really not bad, and it's very leisurely still. It stays feeling like the Skimmer. They did a good job with this. Right, this event, okay, you got to gather leyline magic. So you fly over it on the Skimmer, and you deposit it on the guy. But what I realized was it's really annoying to get these orbs up here, right? And now you're doing like the fiddly and the turning is kind of, I can't do this. So you know what my instinct to do was to go on the sky scale. And oh look, we can collect them on the sky scale. So whenever I did these orb events on running through this, I was doing it on the sky scale, which seemed fine But there's an achievement to collect the orbs, and my achievement wasn't progressing. And I was thinking, why am I not? Like, I've just contributed 12. Why is it not going up? Only to realize the achievement is specifically to do it on the skimmer. So that was an achievement I got. You have to do it on the skimmer. And so I was a bit grumpy about that, thinking, oh, that's not very good. But actually, give them the benefit of the doubt, play the game, and you'll realize they've got this cool little setup here with this ley line, where what it does is it loops you into the sky, and then you can, like, grab a couple, and then you slowly go lower down, and you do a little deposit, and then you go back in, and you keep looping around. And it's fun, man. I had fun with this. And I thought, oh, these events are actually quite cool. I like the little ley line. And we're utilizing all of our masteries when we got this. I don't know what it is, guys, right? I just think... And look, I love Let's Playing, right? And, I mean, it stresses me the fuck out. It does stress me out. But I have a lot more fun just playing it on my own, quietly. When I'm not in Discord, when I'm not trying to hold conversations, when it's just me time, it's just pure decompression, just relax, immerse, really listen to the music. So look, I had a lot of fun doing these achievements, just playing in the maps, just really thinking about it, not forcing myself to have an opinion instantly on everything. It has been good. So, you know, my opinion of VOE has definitely gone up. Anyway, so that was another achievement I did. I mean, this is the north of the camp.
Yes, I see.
Your Blish overlay has a marker at the event location. It looks like an archer.
But I'll need more to know
This
if it will
one?
work.
Oh shit, it's up right now. Ah! I see the archer. There again, see? You just hit the 2 and you get going. Oh my god, yeah, the tent. Save the tent! Ah! Okay, hammer definitely sucks. Okay, that's one tent. Come on, guys, we can do it. Oh, no, that tent. I did have another anecdote about Starlit Weld. What was it? Something I did on Starlit Weld. I don't know. I'll have a look at the achievements there in a second. Oh, this is a group event, by the way. So this must have been one of the group events that I did very early on. We just didn't get anything. Hey, this version actually feels pretty good. I quite like this hair edition. I'm liking the CCs. Alright, the autos don't feel too good. Feels kind of classic, though. You tried to solo this at expansion launch and it was actually really hard? Yeah, I mean, it's a group event, right? And I think that's correct that it should be quite hard. I mean, your mileage may vary, obviously, guys. You may get in there and discover that actually all the group events are a nightmare and they've taken you loads and loads and loads of time and they keep failing and so on and so on and so on. But for me, everything kind of worked out really nicely. So I don't have Evasive Arcana, right? I do. This is really weird. I swear the blind is not working. Either that or the animation's really subtle. For a long time, the blind dodge was my favorite. Oh, it is working. Was my favorite one. I used to duo queue with someone where I would be playing Evasive Arcana on an Ellie, as you so often would. And like, I'd side node, he'd plus. And then after we get the down, he would always instant stomp, and I would dodge on the body to blind, like the warrior throwing their hammer or whatever. Or the Rev using 2, or the Necro Fear, or whatever. You know, some classes it's not appropriate. And when we had like a rhythm for that, that was always so fun. It's really weird. I actually have that guy's phone number on my phone. Like, I was looking through my contacts list. And I have a random... Seriously, the only Guild Wars 2 player, person that I exclusively knew through Guild Wars 2, who I added on my phone. You know, like, I've had other people's phone numbers. Like, I've still got Matt's phone number and all that kind of shit, right? And other people I play other games with, you know. But, like, that was just a guy I played PvP with back in, like, 2013, and I still have his mobile. And it's an odd one. But, yeah, we used to text each other to start playing. I doubt he's thought about Guild Wars in a long time. Certainly not competitive. Do I not ring Boots every night? I have Boots' number as well. You know, it doesn't count when they're a content creator that you spend time with anyway. I don't think. It's like I don't have like any of the GMs in Spuds. I don't have any of their phone numbers. I don't have any just Spud Guild members' phone numbers. I mean, if they gave them, I'd add them. It's like I'm begging for contact, isn't it? This is a really long roundabout way in which, you know, I'm trying to ask Tulip out. Because, you know, I want the number. How are you feeling about content amount? Personally, I'd want a slight bit more story, but if Act 3 and 4 match what we got on release, I'm happy. It's hard to know whether I'm a boiled frog on this, right? In terms of maps, map achievements and stuff, I think this has been really good. I think there's been a good amount of content. I think Meta 1 is weak, but Arenanet don't need to be told that. They know that. They know that Meta 1 is a bit weak. Both maps have been excellent, though. I really think that the story is too short. And the thing is, the thing with the story being too short, it's not necessarily a length thing. I mean, it is. But it's that, like, I think certain conversations that need to be happening between the characters are not happening. Which, one, hurts, like, exposition and, like, actually following the story. 2, creates plot holes. 3, gives them less opportunities for, like, characterization and enjoying them. There we go, we did it. Well done, everybody. Oh, there's a follow-up one here as well. We can do this. But that said, I think the characterization's pretty good this time, actually. I've really been enjoying Canuck and Ritlock in the meta event. There's a line in there which I'm sure is a meta commentary about series like mine, where the golem's like, "Oh, I should register a complaint every cycle." That's us, guys. That's me. No, it's us. I'm at least going to divvy up the responsibility here. I actually can't do anything on this build now. I have to just wait. You know, every mini-X pack, what's the complaint? Whoa, is it too long? Is it too short? Is it too much dailies? Are there too few dailies? Were there enough jumping puzzles? You know, just register a complaint every cycle. And Ritlock's response is, I don't think it counts if you're always complaining. If that's not a message to the community, I don't know what is. But yeah, they're really fun. Also, by the way, PTM is like very suspect. He's like, oh, maybe the Inquest will help us. And Ritlock's like, yeah, I don't think so. Let's see, do we get a charge? No. I think we only get charges when it does damage for some reason. I don't know why the fire evasive arcana works, but not the air one. There we go. Look at our pathetic damage. Did you see that? Look, we're doing a measly little 11k on this. Okay, so yeah, there you go. Awesome, guys. That was about... Oh, no! Shh. I got to sort this out. That actually wasn't too bad. Alright. Okay, I'm going to start rating the spillages. When I accidentally spill a Coke or whatever. And it was Coke today. It was Diet Coke. Actually, it's not called Diet Coke, is it? It's called Vive Diet. It's called Diet... It's just it. Diet Vive. And it's cola flavored, I think. Cola is a flavor that you can put on your can, is that right? Anyway, yeah, I'll start rating them. And out of ratings, that's like a 3. Alright, a bit of spillage. Nothing on any hardware. I'm just a little bit cold on my belly as my white shirt now has gone see-through. PTM also sounds like Blish. Someone called it earlier. What? But I haven't spilled anything for like the whole Let's Play. That's the first spillage of this Let's Play, I think. There we go, we've got daily done. Okay, so yeah, let's go back to Shipwreck Strand real quick. Just to recap on what events and achievements and things I've missed out on. You guys have missed out on here. It's not all the jukebox. So yeah, to recap, I've just got to do a couple of maps for Skimming the Seas, and it's fun, and I'll enjoy that, and, you know, get lucky on the meta events. Shipwreck Strand, Starlit World, we've summed everything up. For Shipwreck Strand, what have we got? Or what have I done? I did Waveclaw Scritcher. I did, yeah, this one, Aquatic Prison Break. So there was an event with the freebooters, like down here, where freebooters have put a bunch of wave claws in cages, and I had never done that event. And as you open the cages, you pull the wave claws out, and there's an achievement for doing all of those. So I've seen that. I've seen one of every event now on all these maps, so I've done that. So in End of Dragons, they started doing this idea where there were achievements asking you to see all of the events. And then which is great. I think that's a really good idea because it means people don't miss out on content. And then, but what they also did was they said, okay, once you've got the achievement, you can repeat it. And they want you to repeat it twice. And those have always been frustrating to me. They've been frustrated. First of all, the way that the AP was listed made it look kind of brutal. But it was frustrating because you could repeat the same event 7 times, but just because you didn't see one rarer one which finished the tier first, none of those excess 7 count. And that always felt a bit, ugh, you know, it always in the back of your mind, you're doing events and it's like, if I just found that other one already, I'd be making progress, but instead I'm not making progress. And there's just something that just feels a bit icky about that. And they repeated that for Secrets of the Obscure, and they repeated that last year with Janthe Wilds. This year, they did not repeat it. And I think that was an improvement as well. I think it's better this year. Those achievements do exist, see all of the events, but it's just one. Just the once, and all that repeatable shit and feel like you're missing out and stuff is just not a part of it. It's not a part of your mindset. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I've seen all of the events. Nothing springing to mind as that beautiful or incredible or weird. So, you know, I guess I don't know. I do have an anecdote. I really do. But it's there. So anyway, jumping puzzle, jumping puzzle, jumping puzzle. What have we got? We've got this. In loving memory. Now let's finish this. In Shipwreck Strand, take a moment to reflect at the graves of Castorans no longer with us. Now, we did a side quest in the last episode about going to graves. And I kind of got confused, I guess. I thought that there was one grave thing, but no, there's multiple grave things. This is the other one. Okay, so we wanna go to a grave where there's a bouquet of flowers. Now I've got Wiki open here. I'm gonna just go to Wiki to do this here. So there's one there, and yeah, I'll keep the squad up. Thanks for playing the game with me, guys. But I totally understand if there's not really anything else to do now. So you know. You don't want to follow me around getting a couple of hyper-personalized objectives that I need. And then that's it. So yeah, alright, there you go. Whew, there's the opening rant. There's the opening bit. That's 70 minutes of constant conversation. Hello, live chat. Hello, people in the live chat. How's it going? What have I missed? Because I've missed a lot. Robert says, to be fair, I said coffee, not cola. No, look, the odds of me spilling coffee are really low now because I have this thermos with a sealable lid. Sometimes I do keep the lid off just to let it cool down a little bit. So like I've got a coffee here, but if I knocked it over, nothing would happen. So I do not regret that purchase. That was a good purchase from you guys. Purchase suggestion from you guys. Apparently there's a grave near. Oh, there it is. Hastily constructed. So did I seriously never press F on this? Age 45, beloved partner. And world-renowned florist. Oh. And this was actually emoting there, I think. Oh. Okay, a grave where rumors are buried. A grave where rumors are buried. Is this about gossip or something? I don't know. It's kind of a bit of a red flag, right? If you hear someone's died and there were rumors about them, that's generally not. Instinctively, that's not a good thing. Hey WP, did you ever continue using a standing desk and a walking treadmill? I do still use a standing desk. I barely ever put it up, and I've been wondering if I wasted my money. And I don't use a walking treadmill. I gifted it to my elderly parents. And every time I see that they're not using it, I bust their balls about it. But I figured it was a way for them to. Like, they needed to be active far more than me. I use an exercise bike. Exercise bike is my my thing of choice. I haven't got to the point where I've put the desk up and been on the bike. I could try that. I've been meaning to try that. I think that could be really interesting, actually. Why haven't I tried that? You know, like, so you got like a walk pad, right? It's basically a treadmill without the higher bit, so it can go under your desk. What about a walk bike? Well, no, a bike pad. Does that make sense? Like just the chair, not the higher bits that you hold on to. I just want the chair and the bit that you pedal. That would be quite cool. In fact, maybe I could just unscrew. No. The design of bike I have isn't good enough for that. So yeah. All right, rumors and secrets. Today I saw herbalist Fabrice talking to Axel. Oh, these are people who are still alive, so this is quite a modern grave. I thought the two were still at odds with the whole crab debacle. Seems as though they've made peace. I heard in passing talk of a new ship crashing ashore. The lot of them seemed suspicious right from the get-go. Seems as though the crashing of their vessel was not just the whipping waves and bountiful beasts. 2 nights past, little Stace asked me about talking fruit. Said she saw a pineapple with 2 legs just marching about. I told her not to go out after dark, just in case. Ha. I've read this before. I think what's happened, guys, is we've read this, but we didn't actually interact with the grave. Yeah. Gossip and storyteller. May you spin your yarn eternally. Yeah, we read this. So lastly was a warrior's grave. Watching those in the village from a distance. So the location of that one is... Oh, I don't know if it's in a grotto. I don't think it's in a grotto. Grotto... I think it's on this. And they're like... So what's the best waypoint? Ooh, it's kind of... I guess this one. Flexi Spot has that? What, the bike thing I was talking about? It costs a lot? Yeah, I can't spend too much money, though. That's the thing. Wow, he's talking to us, guys. Be cool. Don't embarrass us. Oh, man. It's okay. You guys could never embarrass yourselves. Your Coke with your lunch order today sprayed all over you when you opened it. Must have gotten shaken up during the delivery. Oh, yeah, that is a risk. That is a risk with these delivery services. Here we go. And this warrior's grave has a sword on it. A Zweihander. Here lies our commander, brave and resilient. We leave her sword where she fell. That was their commander. Damn, they could be saying that about me. This could be Liz buried here. Yeah? It could be Liz. Okay, so then the next thing I want to do is Emergent Metamorphosis. So we need to complete the Defeat Ziff event, which I must have done before, but I don't know. It would have been a long time ago before I got Emergent Metamorphosis beginning. So we need to help the Astral Ward uncover Operative Myrick. Sorry. Help undercover Astral Ward Operative Myrick destroy Inquest consoles and free the captured animals. The captured animals. It's northeast of the Inquest Subterranean Research Facility. So this is the Subterranean Research Facility. Over here-ish. I think it's like... Is it underground? Or is it above ground? I think... It's like here. It might be under, it might be over. Let's just go have a look. If it's live... we might just be able to grab it straight away. And then we get this cool back piece. And I really do think Lister will look cool. It is rare for them to do a back piece that I really like. Especially not on the gem store. It's in the first room of the lab? Okay. It's that guy with a really cool dialogue that I always feel I'm not appreciating. Because I'm usually ranting when I walk through there. Tokavian says you can get a pedal thing you put onto your desk. Now, I've tried one of those before. I've tried... So there are things that... And
you've been out here, what, 10 years?
That, like, you can sit... The idea is you're sitting on your couch. Or you're sitting on your desk chair or whatever. And you just have this plastic thing at your feet, basically, and you pedal. But it is one of the purchases I most regret in my life. It was fucking awful. I do not recommend buying one of those. They're really lightweight. They're really flimsy. They wobble around. They'll hurt your shins. I don't know whether it's just the ergonomics, because like maybe if you're like 5 foot or something, it works a bit better. But I mean, a computer desk chair you could raise or lower, right? Like, there's no configuration in which that fucking thing worked at all. I completely regretted it. If there was a way for me to, like, properly screw it to the floorboards, right, then maybe then it's good. If it could be a fix there, but then it can't be moved. Don't get one of those. They're terrible. Bad idea. Total gimmick. And it has big gimmick. Don't give me a little credit, right? It looks gimmicky even from the store page, but the reviews were all so good. So I trusted the reviews, and I tell you, I shouldn't have. I should not have, because these people are insane. Really, really stupid. I threw it out with the most recent move. Don't agree with that. I was inspired, though, because I read a story about some guy who was, like, really, really overweight, and talked about how he accidentally, well, not accidentally, he just passively lost the weight because he modified a rowing machine, I think it was. And he would just, like, not the hand part of the rowing machine, but he would do the leg action while playing console games. So he would hold a console controller and he would play, you know, whatever console games. So, like, this idea, and also I remember listening to a Rooster Teeth podcast years ago, where Bernie used to be reasonably overweight, and he lost all the weight. And it was and I know it's like, oh, it's because he got rich and it becomes easy when you're rich or whatever, but no, it was before that. And he talked on the podcast, I'm talking ages ago, like 2011, about how it was because he had a treadmill and he would play Halo with his controller on the treadmill. So, like, it is a thing. I watch a Tomb Raider streamer. Well, I haven't for a while. I don't know what he's up to at the moment. But I used to watch a Tomb Raider streamer that would stream from an exercise ball. And I don't know how valid that was. I mean, he was always...
My services seem to have
not to be too rude or whatever, he was always quite chubby. I don't know how much that was really helping him. But but this idea of passively doing it, I mean, it seems very appealing, doesn't it? But those little leg thingies, the little mini cycle, no, not that. And the thing is, I don't use controllers. I game... not just always on the PC at this point, but I barely even use controller. Like I probably should have cracked the controller out for Hollow Knight. I was struggling with that game on the controller. Having an analog on mouse and keyboard, having an analog stick would have been really nice. Here, this is Ziff. So we're gonna get his thing for the back piece, are we? And even there, I got the controller, but didn't even stick with it. So it's not that I'm anti-controller or anything. I'm not in that sort of place. So whatever. Anyway, yeah, the standing desk walk pad combo definitely was good, but you know, I don't need it that bad. I'd much rather give it to people who are a bit older and, you know, need to sort out their hearts and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? Wasn't there a remake of Tomb Raider announced recently? Wait, what? Was there? Scanning my brain. I don't remember that. There's obviously the whole Halo CE remake. Full-blown remake. Adds new guns, changes mechanics, new areas on the maps, revamps the campaign, 3 new campaign missions, built on Unreal Engine, no toggle back and forth like Anniversary was. That fucking looks awesome. I'm really excited about that. Especially the idea I'll be able to play it on PC and not the Steam machine. So there you go, Emergent Metamorphosis complete! Haha! And we get the back piece. I'm going to equip it straight away. I'm really excited to equip this thing. Even if it does break my demon setup. Look, we had the demon set up for Nios. So this is deactivated. Okay, and here's Emergent. I wonder if this will tear up again later. Was it slated legendary-wise this year? Or could this become a legendary? So, and you guys are telling me I've got a glider for it too, and the glider looks awesome. Is that right? Let's have a look here. Glider. Emergent Metamorphosis. There we go. We'll get rid of the Inquest chair for a second. Thankfully, the dyes all seem good. Just desperately trying to find a place where I'm not going to get in combat here.
Lend me your key.
Let's go on the roof and glide off, shall we? There you go. So we have completed the look for this. I mean, maybe weapons. We could change the weapons. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's not died. Oh, yeah. It's got the sound effect and the, like... Makes me wonder whether I should dye it in white, actually. Let's see what the default dyes look like. Right. Both the glider and the back piece are the same dies now. I wonder if this look even... This is quite good as well, because this actually looks good on an Asura, in my opinion. And maybe that makes sense. Sometimes Asura do win with the Fashion Wars, because like an item is bigger, or, you know, the proportions are a really interesting way. That's why I like the big hats and the big shoulders on Asura quite often. Alright. Oh, what? Where is it? I don't have it hidden, and yet it's not there. Well, that was odd. Well, there you go. Okay, so that's one thing with Starlit World, or two things with Shipwreck Strand, sorry. What else have we got? We've got do feed the Wavehawks, feed 3 Wavehawks hanging out, dog trainer, ghosts need friends too, and not even a scratch. So this is another group one. Prevent crabs from reaching the hole gardeners for the duration of their tan during the tanning event. So if you guys would like to help me with this as well, that would also be quite fun. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait at the tanning area. And while we wait for this event to turn on, I'm going to hand us over now to the... what do we want to do? Patch notes or the Q&A? I think Q&A, because patch notes I want to actually get in and have a look at some stuff. So this is where the tanning event will happen. I've done the tanning event loads of times, and I haven't got this achievement. Oh, mind you, hold on. This is hole gardeners. Yeah, they are hole gardeners here, though. There's not another tanning event up at Hole Garden, is there? Is that why I've never got it? I must admit, I don't really remember crabs attacking them here, but usually I was focused on aloe vera. Tanning is only during the day. Okay, so what time is it now? Tyrian time... Daytime starts at past. Yeah, okay, so daytime starts in 6 minutes. So we're okay. Man, that's so handy having that on screen. So good. It starts in 6 minutes. So we can do this. Right, let's do some Q&A then, shall we? And the tanning event's amazing, and I don't really remember if I've ever put it on screen. Right, so a selection of comments here from you guys. And I do apologize. A lot of messages probably fell through the cracks because... You know, I got so many messages about Guild Wars Reforged, and I kind of had to, you know, sift through them. So here's Crusader Knight. My first comment got deleted. Yeah, be careful with typing long comments, guys, because they do get removed. But this guy says, because I included a wiki link. Anyway, at 2 hours in this episode, you talk about how rifts have no story influence, and how they're a bit of a weird part of VOE. However, and this is a really interesting thing, the command complex, that Inquest facility in Starlit, that was built exactly there because of the mysterious rifts. Some Inquest, dispatched by Professor Druger to scout the area, witness some Pineapple Choya entering a portal. They report back to Vlox, who decides to build the facility there so they can take advantage of the rifts. You've read some of the Inquest notes in part 7 of the Let's Play called Strange Portals. They explained it. That's amazing. Thank you for talking about that and focusing me on that. So, do you guys think that basically the story with the rifts this year is they're on the back burner, but this overall idea that Tyria is vulnerable, Tyria is visible in the mist, something weird is happening with rifts, that's like, it's on the back burner, but it is a mystery worth remembering, retaining. Maybe Vlox knows something specific he wants to do with it. I don't know. This is a prime example to me, though, of, again, this should be a part of the story, the main story. There should be a moment where Canuck says, what is this rift? And Liz says, oh, God, it's a whole thing. We've been dealing with them. And last year it was Titans, the year before Cryptis. Why are there still rifts? I don't know. We'll have to figure this out. And then we move on because there's more pressing matters. But that scene should be there, you know? And especially if Isgaren's on screen, you know... Ritlock should then have a sly comment. Isn't this for you? Isn't this about what your organization should be dealing with, Isgaren? And then he like just gives him the cold shoulder. And then Ritlock says, touched a nerve or something, right? I don't know. I don't claim to be a dialogue writer, okay, but something in that ballpark. 13 a.m. Since this Visions of Eternity series is coming to an end, oh, very sad, guys. I think it would be a fun little moment to talk to Castaway Jolly Jim on the stream. I don't think you have until now. He's in the Shipwreck Strand. He's at the Hole Garden Heart, close to those 3 NPCs with instruments and their sheet music. Only he's their lyricist, and there are multiple songs you can compose with him, including What About Yourself? Okay, whole garden heart. NPCs with instruments. He's the lyricist. Let's see if we can do that before the aloe vera. If I don't really remember where the instrument bit was. It was on a beach, right? There you go. See, she just said, hello, friend. Work's going to get done. You're awesome. She loves me. So, weren't they composing music up on, like...
Brilliant woodwork. And all of your materials were salvaged from wrecks.
I don't... By the 3 NPCs. It was out here, wasn't it? This is the sandcastle thing, wasn't it? Or are they out... Oh, they're all the way over here, maybe. Here we go. Here's Castaway Jolly Jim. Hello, Jolly Jim. Oh, hey there. There you are. Been looking for you. Why is that? I want to write a song about you, but I'd like your input. All right, how can I help? All right, here we go. Tell me the tale of a hero. Strong and brave and true. Kind and loyal and true. Quick and clever and true. Kind and loyal. Quick and clever. Strong and brave. I'm not brave. And I'm not strong. I like to think I'm kind. And I can be unkind, but, you know. And I think I am loyal. I think I'm very loyal. I don't think I'm very quick, and I don't think I'm very clever. It has to be kind and loyal. Who vanquished the evils of Tyria Vast, guiding their people through, running their enemies through, outsmarting more than a few? Well, is it me or is it Liss? Because if it's Liss, outsmarting. Guiding their people? No, I don't think my allies do much for the commander. Let's say running their enemies through. To Castora they came in our hour of need. To quell a freebooter coup. To give the inquest the boot. To help write a shady shanty or two. Why did I come to Castora? Just to help write a song? I like that. No, to give the inquest the boot. Ha! Good, good. Well, thank you for all you've done to help Tyria and Castora. I'm looking forward to returning home to see all the good you've done. Oh, that's lovely. Will he sing it? I thought he was going to sing it. I really did. Do you know what one of the all-time highlights of Guild Wars is for me? It's that moment in Heart of Thorns with the Itzel with the guitar. And you could give him the chords to play. That shit was awesome. Alright, there you go. That's Jolly Jim. And we got it done before the tanning started, so that's good. Now, just remember, guys, if there's loads of us here, it's going to scale up hard. We just got to focus on blowing up the crabs, so it should be fine. Right, okay, back to the Q&A. Did I really not read that the first time I came here? There must be so many things I've missed out on those hearts. Oh, yeah, I was going to show you guys the terrible heart with the hay. I don't know, man. You press F on the hay, and then it tells you, oh, you can't do this again today. Like, what? You're picking up fruit, and it says, oh, you can't do this again today. It's just like with the beachcombing thing, with the scanning, where it just says this content is no longer available today. Really, really awful. You know, I'm not opposed to the idea that you can only do X element of a heart so many times so that people don't just cheese it with the same thing. I'm not opposed to that. But you should do it in such a way where it's like, okay, the hay is no longer in the pile. The hay pile should shrink and shrink and shrink and then be gone. Don't throw me like a server error message telling me I'm not allowed to pick up the hay that's clearly still there. That's silly. Don't throw me a server error message telling me that Liss is incapable of picking up the fruit on the floor when it's clearly still there. You know, just don't have the fruit on it. Despawn the fruit. Get rid of the hay. I know I'm being kind of picky, but and it doesn't really matter that much, but it is by far the worst heart they've ever put into Guild Wars 2 in terms of just like professionalism and like ludonarrative, obviously. It's crazy. And it's so weird. It's like a complete outlier. Like, I wonder if they only had 2 hearts for that map for a long time and they put the 3rd one in as a bit of a Hail Mary. Because even the idea of that last heart with all the Norn, the hunting and stuff, it's like, well, who are these guys? We don't really learn that much about them. Well, they feel like they're kind of thrust in there at the last hour. I don't know. All right, next. So, Ideka says, are you talking about augmented Tyria around 40 minutes? That was when we were talking about the original pathing thing that had everyone furious and calling it cheating. He says, I made that years ago. It wasn't Season 1, though. More like Season 3. It's possible I don't remember the era correctly, but I think it was Season 1, the one I was talking about. Augmented Tyria doesn't ring any bells. Maybe it was that. Season 3? Was it that late? Maybe I only remember it as Season 1 because all the times I remember using it and talking about it was in like Wayfarer Foothills and around Diessa, and they feel like distinctly Season 1 areas to me. Maybe it's the wires getting crossed there. I don't know. There was Guild Wars 2 mapping link, says Banjo in the live chat. Mapping link, is that right? That heart is token food. Yes, Angels 2 Online. Yes, it is. That heart, I always spend 2 tokens on that heart. The other ones, so like the first heart on that map, you can use the skimmer to heal people. You can paint some interesting animals. Like, you can get through it pretty quickly. You don't even have to spend any tokens. The second heart has that defense event, and if that's up, it's basically free. But I might throw a token at it. But then the Hunter's Camp, like, I'll just token that. Definitely. Okay, so we've got Druak1, who says, on the topic of add-on marker packs, or using the wiki for collections, I agree with WP. I do not enjoy them at all. At this point, I wish I could get a game option to just show the markers on the map. Give me the big exclamation mark like in other Question games, or a defined circle to look in. I feel like my options are to find it and the reason I picked this comment here, guys, is because this guy articulated this situation very well. Listen to this. I feel like my options are to find it organically while just naturally playing the game, but then I can never follow the story it's trying to tell. Absolutely, because it's so disconnected and you're getting different pieces in different hours, yeah? Or I can spend time trying to figure out where the clues and hints are leaving me all at once, which gets old really fast with the inconsistent hints the game gives. Is it POIs? Is it areas, vistas? Or none of the above? Who knows? And that just leads to using the wiki. But when I have to use the wiki to solve the stories, I lose interest because why bother? I'll just read the wiki or watch WP play the content. I enjoyed the main story collection because it eventually gave me the option to find the items with the mails. Until the side stories have that too, I will either just use the wiki or skip the content because I have no clue what's going on while finding random parts across multiple play sessions. I think you've illustrated the issue very, very well there. You know, this content to really be enjoyed, you kind of have to do it in a batch. But to do it in a batch is really to push you to the wiki even more. And it is just that thing about telegraphing. You know, Kerry got me into the Horizon Zero Dawn franchise. I want to buy a Steam frame and get the Horizon VR game as well, to be honest. But I was always really impressed with that game, how it handles this stuff. You know, you get kind of an obscure clue that tells you about something in the environment, but when you open the map, all right, when you open the map, you get a huge green circle, and it's like, you know it's within this circle. Now, it could be in the middle, it could be here, it could be here, it could be right on the edge even if the devs were feeling a bit cheeky. But it is in the circle, right? And it's like, that's perfect. Guild Wars is very odd with its telegraphing, where you don't see anything until you get close, at which point it gives you the specific thing. Guild Wars is doing the reverse of Horizon. Horizon gives you the general area, plus like an immersive clue. Guild Wars gives you an immersive clue and an entire fucking map to look at. And then when you get close, it spoils the immersive area. Like Arenanet have got it completely wrong. They're telegraphing. It's the complete reverse. If every single one of these side collections and stories was following that Horizon format, I think it would be perfect. And I say the Horizon format, by the way, but I'm sure it's not just Horizon. It's just that I'm too much of a mono gamer to appreciate, you know. I'm sure fuck tons of modern open world games have got this figured out, but Arenanet don't. And I think that's a shame. So, yes, that's something that I'd like to see improved. Look, I think it's a bit... we're not going to see updates for all the old content. They're just not going to do it. But in terms of, like, best practices going forwards, I think that's something that I would like to see. Anyway, very well articulated. I like that message. Okay, next we've got a very long one here. This is from Awesome. On Ascension and the ethics of losing your memories. The comment you read out shows we're slowly moving away from the original point, which I completely understand because it gets very muddy very quickly. The issue with the ethics is not that Isgarin ascends people without informing them. He obviously does inform them. Zoja even comments on it when we ask if she's okay, somewhere in the Secrets of the Obscure story. Yeah, they all talk about it. They all openly know they will and have lost their memories. The issue is that no one talks about it in the story. Let's view this from the commander's perspective. You meet a secret organization of wizards whom are or will be ascended, become practically immortal or very long living, and lose part of their memories. One of our old friends, or mentor, or annoying rat, depending on your view of Zoja, is going to undergo that right. Now, I, as an outsider, would have questions. I would have them for any wizard, but mainly for my friend. And for Isgaran. 1, does the memory loss have to happen? I assume so, by the way, otherwise Isgaran is insane. 2, what are the experiences... By the way, I don't think he's insane to choose it. That argument of removing people's biases is a valid one. It's not an insane idea. What are the experiences of the other wizards? What do you lose? What do you keep? Any rhyme or reason to it? Are you the same person after ascending? Your memories partly make up who you are, and changing them will change you fundamentally. Are you okay with giving up the connections you had, losing your friends, your family? Has it ever gone wrong? Do they come back? How long does it take? Do they all come back? Only question 4 is at least answered by Zoja, because she feels there's nothing for her on Tyria, and she does make the conscious decision to sever that connection entirely. It's fine if all the wizards have got those 6 questions answered before they ascend, but we don't. A commander with brain cells would ask these questions. They would ask them to all the wizards. All of them. Imagine all the cool philosophical talks we could have had with them. And if your argument as a writer at Arenanet is, yeah, that's a cool idea, but we don't have the time budget for that, then don't write stories with these ramifications. I'm sorry. I'm still not convinced they didn't think this ascension thing through. I find it extremely hard to argue against Awesome Deborsome here. This reminds me a lot of like any shoddy anime or like Lost reviews and stuff where you realize these conversations aren't happening because like the writers don't want to think about it. I don't know, like, yeah, this is it. This is all the juicy stuff. This is what I wanted. And you don't get enough. You get like some vague gesturing at it by way of like, oh, let's just sit in the emotion of the moment. Oh, let's just feel the emotion. But they haven't earned that emotion. Like, you need those details, I think, to get there. And, look, you can say, oh, we're just picky nerds. We're hyperfixating. Most people aren't that into it. They just want some casual tear-jerking. I don't know. I don't think that they got there. I think what's also happening, though...
Hey, Westergaard. Got strange reports from Hammerheart territory. Air's crackling. Smells like lightning. Saida here gave me her communicator. Insists you'd help, so... help. Thanks.
Alright, do you know what? Last year and the year before, I was so uptight about getting interrupted by the constant dialogue. It happens so rarely this year. I'm totally chill. I'm fine with this. Really. It's fine. Who cares? I've already done the meta for today, so I won't be doing that. I think it's the for the lack of a better phrase, the living world thing, you know, like when I played Secrets of the Obscure. Okay, now I'm annoyed.
Jess'd make a deal with darkness to get us all under her thumb. And Jimmy'll do whatever she says, long as it involves explosions. Careful. Those two have way more ambition than brains.
I don't remember that coming up. All right. So like I've completely lost the topic now. Oh, no. I know what I was going to say. Yeah, like when Secrets of the Obscure came out, and they only gestured at this stuff. When Secrets of the Obscure came out, and they only gestured at the ethics of the fractal thing. Are they real lives? What do we do with them? Were we right to have these fractals in the first place? You know, they gestured at it, and they kind of thought, oh, this is even a little bit conspiratorial. I thought, oh, well, look, they're going to go into this in the post-patches, you know. Especially with Secrets of the Obscure. It was a whole new cast, a whole new setting, whole new ideas. Presumably they're writing stories they want to pay off on, right? So it was like, okay, they'll do it in the post-patches. And then the post-patches came out and we just went to Nyos and they did a bunch of boring stuff in Nyos. And it's like, it's kind of, it's easy to forget that we didn't fill the story in. So, like, is that a calculated thing that Arenanet did there? Or was it just an accident? Is this just the complexities of having multiple different patches that are coming out throughout a year? Is it, and that you're trying to organize over, you know, however many hundred people that are, you know, artists and writers that are working on these things? Is that what this all is? This is all just the faults and the casualties and the crimes of bureaucracy? Like, I don't know. And then so then the next year, well, obviously we're off to Janthir, and they're dealing with all of those Janthir stories, and there's no time for it. And then this year we kind of have looped back to the memory loss stuff. And they're gesturing at it again. They're gesturing at it with locks. They're gesturing at it with, you know, the lesser versus the greater ritual and all of that. And I'm in the same place right now, today, as I speak, as you listen to this video, dear viewer. I'm in the same place as I was with Secrets of the Obscure, where I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. And I'm thinking, well, you know, they're writing the story. Clearly they want to go into it. Clearly they'll do it. Right? But are we about to do another Nyos type thing? You know? Are we about to just move on? And that's the fear, really, isn't it? That it won't get the time of the day. You know? The Nightmare Court should have had their time of day in Season 3, and they didn't get anything. Malik could have had his time of day in Season 3, and he didn't get anything. Instead, we're dealing with Balthazar / Lazarus / cracking the tooth / going back to Siren's Landing, and so on and so on and so on. In Season 4, Joko should have had his time in the sun, but no, we moved on to Kralkatorrik really quickly, and even Joko's thing was crowded out by the inclusion of the Scarab Plague elements, which was good, but, you know, like... So I don't know. I don't know. Am I naive? But it feels like I'm perpetually in that place of giving the benefit of the doubt where things are missing from the story, and we're not, and we're just kind of saying, oh, it's because they're going to do it in the next patch. Let's see whether they will. Let's see. Next comment. The tanning is still not happening. Does the tanning not happen until that food event is done? Is that what it is? We need to gather supplies? Is it disabled during the meta? One of the events I did off screen got disabled during the meta, and that was a bit of a shame. Alex Historian 2181 says, oh, this is actually a comment from the Guild Wars Reforged coverage. Quote, fighting anything that crossed their path while under the leadership of the Kana, aided by their gods. Now there's an interesting thought. What did the Char worship before the Titans? Okay, so if you guys are confused about this... Oh, I deleted the screenshot. Shit. There's those trading cards. Go look at my Guild Wars Reforged coverage. There's those trading cards that they tweeted. And it's a bit cringy, really. On the video, I said, oh, look, they're tweeting lore. And then I moved on. I didn't actually read the cards. Sorry, it's cringy. I know. I didn't actually even fucking read the cards. Look, I saw that it was a Char on there. I saw that it was a Char card. I skimmed it very briefly, and I saw it said shit about, oh, the Char are attacking Ascalon or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's just background info. But if you actually read it, and it's only like a sentence or two, so sorry, everyone. It's scary to think that that could have said anything. If you actually read it, it's kind of a lore bomb on there. They kind of suggest... They hint at the idea of a Char religion. And I'm not talking about their worshipping of the Titans. And I'm not talking about their worshipping of the Destroyers. You know, when Guild Wars 2 starts and they talk about how they killed their gods and all that shit. That's about the Guild Wars 1 stuff.
I've got the target.
No, they're talking about Char religion... from way back when the Char originally lived in Ascalon, before the human gods and all of that. They're talking about that religion. Now, that's very captivating for two reasons. Reason number one. Okay, first of all, they might have just fucked up. It depends if you trust them or whatever. They might have got it wrong. They might have thought that the Titans were around before, because it's kind of a specific little fiddly thing. I would just say, Arenanet, if you did fuck that up, just pretend you didn't, alright? Pretend it was legit, okay? But, so, if they are actually suddenly talking about Char religion from ages ago, it's kind of exciting because it makes me think, I wonder if Guild Wars Reforged does have content plans? And we'll talk a bit more about the Char's history? Maybe. And secondly, even in Guild Wars 2, that's interesting. Why is Ritlock in this story? This story is going into the Ancient Races. Last year was going into the Ancient Races. And it's funny, isn't it, guys? Why are the humans not an ancient race? Well, because they were brought here by the gods, or something happened, all right? They arrived. Let's just say that. They arrived. That's indisputable. But hold on, the Char were here before the humans. Okay. So... why aren't the Char considered an ancient race? Well, what were they doing? What were they doing when this great seer civilization was around? What were they doing during the Masat War? What were they doing while the Forgotten were tending to the world? What were they doing as the Jotun ravaged one another and fell into, you know, bloodthirst? What was going on with the Char? Because they were there, presumably. And that's a fun question. And that's a question Guild Wars 2 could very comfortably go into. And maybe it will eventually give Ritlock a bit more meaning in this story. But again, maybe let's not hold out our hopes for that too much, because I've just realised we're on the wrong fucking comment the whole time. Because, you know, they didn't do anything fascinating with Malice or Kaith. Malice especially last year, so hey. Next, Nick last name. Only 2 more to go here, guys. Nick last name says... okay, so this is a completely unrelated topic, but I want to set the record straight here. I think I've done this like 3 or 4 times. And I'm getting a bit frustrated doing it over and over and over again. So this might be the last time I do this. So I don't know whether it's always Nick that's responding and just misses my responses, or whether there's been a collection of people. But I want to talk about Su-1 here, alright? I want to be very fucking clear about what I hate about the End of Dragons world building and why I think they made a major mistake with Su-1. And it's not a very long rant, don't worry, alright? So I'm just going to let Nick speak, and then I will do my response. So, regarding Su-1, you've said it sucks that she's, you know, this great entity a bunch of times since End of Dragons, and I think either you or I are misremembering or misunderstanding what Su-1 said. To me, you seem to be reading a lot into what she said and taking it the wrong way. I don't think it says at all that she's the god of Tyria, let alone the universe, nor any kind of creator. The only thing she created was the other 5 dragons. I'm pretty sure she just says that she was the first being on Tyria and that the void was preventing life. So she started filtering the magic which allowed other life to spring up and grow on Tyria. She didn't create the universe, nor Tyria, nor the other life here. She just removed the barrier that was stopping other life from growing here. Okay, first of all, I've never called her the creator of the universe. I've never for a second believed that Su-1, like, if the universe as far as Tyria is concerned, would include the mist and all of that stuff. I never, ever, ever have thought or believed, or as far as I understood through my commentary, given the impression that I thought she was the creator of the universe. I'm not sure why any of that is in this comment. I've never said that, okay? I may have called her like a god, because she's effectively a god-like entity. Now, yes, we can get into the perhaps once upon a time fun discussion of what does a god mean? But I mean, Jesus, I'm a bit bored of that. We've been going on about that for ages and ages and ages. She is effectively a creation god of 99% of this franchise's setting. To me, the fact that she didn't create the mists and blah, 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 these other realms with nebulous rules we barely spend any time in, that have no meaningful history to us, that have no meaningful characters within them to us, that's a quibble. That doesn't save Arenanet from fucking with the world building and the stakes and the tangibility and the speculative fun that could be had about this place, about Tyria. For all intents and purposes, until a Guild Wars 3 or a Project Tyria type thing, until that happens, Tyria is it. And they did make her the creation god of Tyria as a setting. They did do that, and it's a mistake, and I'll prove to you that they did that, because it came from one specific moment of End of Dragons, and I've got the screenshot for you right here, okay? The first post-meta conversation you can have in End of Dragons with Su-1 features a damaged Su-1 under the Jade, and here is what she says. We don't have to be vague about this. We don't have to suggest one thing or another. This is the information, and this is what I take issue with. Ready? Su-1. I'm so tired, she's crying, and remember, our heart is supposed to be bleeding for her, and it's not bleeding for her, and that aggravated me too, but that's a separate discussion. I'm tired, so tired, the others, are they safe? And Aurene said, for now. And she said, I didn't want to hurt anyone. And Aurene said, what is this place? The Jade Sea, which before this conversation was just a fun element of the setting, not anything else. She says it's the beginning. The Jade Sea, that spot in the Jade Sea, is the beginning. It is where I brought my children into being, the Elder Dragons. So yes, as you just said, confirmation she created the Elder Dragons. It is where I brought my children into being when all was timeless. Now, she could be being poetic there, but we're talking about a time before time. This is before history. This is before anything. When all was timeless, all was cold, all was empty. And it's not too crazy to think that she's speaking tangibly there, because this is a fantasy setting where we talk about places that exist outside of time, such as the Rift, right? So she says, and with their dragon, I watched the world grow. The world, i.e. the world did not exist until she created the dragons. Ergo, she created the world, all right? I think you're quibbling to try and, like, squeeze around that. With their coming, I watched as the world grew, full of hope and warmth in a maturing sun. Primordus, Kraukatoric, the others, they were all here as the world formed. The world came into being with her creation of the dragons. She's effectively a creation god. I'm not saying she's omnipotent. I'm not saying she's omniscient. I'm not saying she's a god in the way that, you know, a Christian might think of the Abrahamic god in the real world or whatever, right? But she is effectively, for this setting, a true god. And I'm fine with that, by the way, if there was a bit of mystique and interest to the character, but there's not. So, and a while, yes. She says, I created them as tools, which suggests that she actually meant to use them to make the world as well. It wasn't even an accident. It was her intent.
I've got the target.
Mindless as nature, to stay the void's unrelenting push towards entropy. I.e., there is no entropy. The realm can exist. But here, so long ago, there was a time they called me mother. Now, this is all juicy information, and then Arenanet just decide to only gesture at it, and they spend all the other conversations talking about the emotion of the moment and playing happy family, which I also didn't like about the end there. So let's go back to your comment here. Am I misremembering what Suwon said? I seem to be reading a lot into what she said and taking it the same way. She is effectively the god of the creation god of Tyria. The only bit of the setting that currently matters. The only area in the mist that we're interested in. So when we look at the seers in this expansion, and it's all the ancient history and stuff, it's like, well, there's only a couple of fucking cycles, it seems, and Suwon just comes back to the start of it. Like, it's not interesting anymore. They shrunk the setting too much with that. So, yes, look, she's not the god of everything. She didn't create all the myths and that, but I don't care, because that's not what Guild Wars is about yet. That's why, again, I believe Guild Wars 3 could be the thing. So there you go. I think I'm rambling. I think it's fairly indisputable. Like, you say she just says she was the first being on Tyria, which, by the way, already puts her to a fairly fucking godlike status, right? That's already an extraordinary thing. So, yeah. I don't think at any point I've misunderstood this. I don't think at any point I've misremembered this. And I don't like it. I think this was bad world building. This was too big, and they wrapped it around a character that didn't deserve it. That's how I feel. Okay, finally we've got Raptor8X, who says, hot take on PTM. After you repair him and ask about Vlox' past, he mentions Vlox had been a Golemancer. I think PTM is his personally created golem for espionage, to keep an eye on us, which could explain why PTM stopped at Prime when beginning to reveal his name. That information's classified. Sorry, I am 100% on the fact that he's Vlox' dog. I think he's Vlox' dog that he put in a golem, because he was a Golemancer. I don't think he's there for espionage, I just think he's a dog. So there you go. All right, thanks for the rocking out music. Beautiful. Iron Legion. This entire time, the Aloe Vera event hasn't happened. This entire time. I guess we move on to the patch notes then, eh, guys? So, yeah, there was a patch. Let me grab the screenshots here. Sorry. Enjoy the music for a second. Oh, he's turned the music off. Okay. Right, so I've got these screenshots here.
Attack my target!
Hardy83 says, where a lack of clarity is incredibly frustrating. It could easily be that the world existed, void encompassed it all, and then simply being filtered. Oh, well, look, again, I want to be very, very clear. I understand you can rationalize it. You can wiggle around it in your own mind, and you can say, well, it doesn't completely exclude this. It doesn't completely exclude that. But, like, I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to be playing the game and having to, like, find caveats and get out of jail free cards just to be able to continue enjoying it, right? Like, I don't think that's fair. I don't think I can say, oh, it's a good story because technically we can imagine one way or another. The thrust of that conversation is pretty clear to me. You know, it's quite obvious what their intent is. And it's just this thing where I think they don't know how to write big. I don't think they know how to write big, epic settings. You know, they refer to the unending ocean as like a small place. They refer to societies as people with just a few hundred people. They're very small. They're really, really narrow and small, and I don't like that. It feels very shallow, and it makes the setting way, way less captivating. And I think they fall into that trap over and over and over again. It's one of my #1 complaints with... You know, people talk about millennial writing, and they talk about Zoomers can't write, and they talk about how, you know, they don't trust that Guild Wars Reforged would do lore well, blah, 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 blah. I talked about this a lot, and I defended the studio, and I said, look, you've got to have some trust in the writers. You might not like the general Disneyfication of the modern writing and stuff, but you've got to have some trust. And I stand by that. You do have to have some trust. I think a lot of people can't really identify what they don't like. And what gets frustrating is a lot of us who don't like the modern writing, and there are huge amounts of the modern writing that I don't like, they just get accused of like sneered at. Oh, it's just because they're homophobes. Oh, and I think that's really reductive, and that's really unfair, you know, like... People aren't always talking. I mean, there are some bigots out there, obviously. Some people are upset that the guy on the beach here is gay or whatever, right? Like, there are people that are hateful. But I think there's a lot of very authentic criticism that can be levied at the modern storytelling. And all those burned out Guild Wars 1 players that don't trust their writing anymore are perfectly within their rights to do that. There are valid reasons, and I think the scope thing is a part of it. I think voice acting and delivery is a part of it as well. And,
remember my last
and another conversation that comes up a lot with this is like pop culture references. So there's a comment chain on one of my Reforged videos recently where people always there's an instinct to condemn critics who are upset with modern writing, because people will say, oh, I really liked Guild Wars 1, I liked the writing, I liked the vibe of the story, but I don't like it in Guild Wars 2. And people will want to say, no, Guild Wars 1 was bad as well, right? That comes up all the time, and you'll hear me say similar things. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we got to kill the crabs. You'll hear me say similar things. But I think people are a bit dishonest in that accusation as well. Because where Guild Wars 1 was light and fluffy was with pop culture references, right? There's a dungeon that's just basically a rip on Red versus Blue, yeah? There's a quest in which you get a banana scythe, and it's a reference to snakes on a plane, right? There's side NPCs that talk about things that sound a bit like televisions and the inventions of airplanes, right, in Nightfall. There are like references to the modern world. There are tongue-in-cheek jokes to the modern world. And people will say, look, that stuff exists in Guild Wars 1 as well, so clearly it wasn't that good. And I do want to attack that a little bit. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that the people who are upset with modern Guild Wars 2 writing are upset on the grounds of pop culture references. Like, when Thunderhead Peak took us into that big Monster Hunter thing, right before the big showdown with Kralkatorrik, I didn't see anyone bitch about that. Anyone. I mean, look, we can't make generalizations. There probably was someone that bitched, right? But people were fine with that. And I was fine with that. I enjoyed that. When I played Sorrow's Embrace in 2012 and the Iron Forgeman sunk into the lava and gave me the thumbs up just like from the Terminator, I was fine with that. And that was basically main story as well, right? I consider the story dungeons and the dungeons to be main story. I was fine with that. Pop culture references have never got people's backs up. And especially not when they're in, like, side adventures and stuff. So, you know, I don't think that's... I don't think you can just say, oh, you're not allowed to criticize Guild Wars 2 writing, because Guild Wars 1 sucked anyway. When Guild Wars 1 wanted to be serious, it was serious. When it was dealing with, you know, the loss of Cormyr and what the Sun Spears were going to do and how they would deliberate on whether they really should attack Corner, right? And you had that council meeting. They were serious about it. When it came to the fact that we had to ask the Vabians for help, they were serious about it, you know? So, like, they weren't joking about the fucking Terminator in moments like that, right? When Cormyr had her eyes gouged out, they were serious. When they wrote that stuff about the Ministry of Purity, they were brave and they were confident. And they didn't think about whether bigotry was too problematic to put main on screen. That fucking university buzzword wasn't even a thing at that time, right? So, I think that they're valid things for people to talk about, right? Like, when you're shying away from real, sincere, earnest storytelling because you're too flinchy about offending A, B, or C, you know, like, that's a sign, I think, that the studio is losing its way a bit. And it's not because they're millennials, right? And it's not because... I think it's just the internet. I think that's really what it's come down to. I think it's being too reflexive of, like, internet complaints. So anyway, look, I think there have been pros and cons to both games, because at the same time, Guild Wars 1 is not a great game for storytelling. Even at its best, it was not great. And Guild Wars 2 has hit way higher bars than any Guild Wars 1 player would ever like to admit, alright? Way higher bars. That Season 4 shit is way better than, like, 99% of what Guild Wars 1 offered. A lot of Guild Wars 1 gets to rest on its laurels for, like, being the setup, not the payoff. Payoff is always really hard, right? It's easy for Eye of the North to be good, because it never had to be good. Did we get the achievement, or did I fuck that up? Oh, did we fuck it up? Someone in chat says it's bugged. Lol rip. Oh, is that why we're not getting it? Because it's bugged? Alright, well, there you go. That was another thing there. So, yeah, look, I might sound like I'm not giving you a good hard answer to which game told its story better, Guild Wars 1 or Guild Wars 2, and that's because I'm not. Because I'm afraid, guys, some of these conversations are complicated. They're hard, alright? It's not something you can sum up. It's not something you can just put in a single YouTube comment. Not even a massive wall of text. It's not something I can sum up off the cuff in like a rant, right? Like, it would take a real essay to really get to the heart of that and pick one way or the other. There are pros and cons to both games, and I hate saying that shit. I really do. Everyone has an opinion. Oh, there's ups and downs always. You know, these fucking overly diplomatic non-comments that are just there to give the illusion of discourse, alright? I hate that shit, but that's kind of what I have to do here. Because it's tough. Anyway, you know, all I can focus on is the fact I have enjoyed Visions of Eternity. And there have been lowlights, and there have been highlights, and there will always be more. I'll take every single one of these on an individual basis. And that's what I said in the Reforged video, you know, like, I'm not such a doomer. I'm gonna sit there and say, don't add more content to Guild Wars 1. It's going to be Disney-fied. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. That's bullshit. Right. Okay, patch notes. Okay, so I've said everything about the maps and the achievements, and I'm not going to be showing any more now, guys. That is it. You're done. That's what you get from this Let's Play. Oh, no, it's not. I lied. We're going to do these. Feed the 3 wave hawks hanging out in the soaring sands. These are all really quick, easy achievements, and I've saved them specifically for now. Do feed the wave hawks. Move to the location south of Crimson Leaf Fountain. There's a basket with treats. Feed the 3 wave hawks the treats. And it will make them happy and give you good karma. And that's it. Jesus. I'm really struggling on this map to actually, like, find landmarks. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Is it that the map's not very good? Is it that the whole map feels a bit samey? No, I love this map. I fucking love this map. Seriously, it's so good. Like, swimming around on the waves. I feel like there hasn't been enough footage on the LP of being out in the deep waters, places like this where the waves are really going, like out here. I love this shit. Do you know what this reminds me of? Playing Crash 3 Warped, when you would get on, you know, like those jet ski levels. You'd play Coco on the jet ski. It feels like whenever I'm streaming, the waters are always really clear and the waves aren't that strong. But God, and then when I'm playing in my own time, I'm always just marveling at how beautiful all is. WP, you done your job. No more waffle. NM waffle. No more waffle. Hey, I don't think that was waffle. How much of that was waffle? Right, Wavehawk treats. Oh, are they named? Do you want a treat, Bessie? Oh, did he ask me not to feed them? Oh shit, I just fed another one. Accidentally. Poppy. And Sesame. Oh, that's a great name. I like that name. Do feed the Wavehawks. There you go. Done that. Next, dog trainer. Teach Shrimpy all 4 dog tricks. This one seems pretty interesting. Dog trainer. Shrimpy is a good girl. And she's at Whole Garden, it looks like. Oh my god, look, holy shit. Bella Waldstern is like a genius and is already standing there and waiting. How are you so fast with that? You knew where I was going with this. Oh, what about the Aqua Breather Precursor Collection? Yeah, don't worry. We have 2. This is why I'm saying this probably isn't the last episode. I mean, Christ, we're 2 hours in already. We have 1 more culture thing, and we have the Aqua Breather. So yeah, don't worry. But in terms of general map achievements, what I'm saying is this is the end. So here's Shrimpy. So, sit. Did that work? Yeah, it's it. Oh, but it's not. Slash shake isn't an achievement. Is there a? Oh, I need to grab a treat, maybe. Do you want a treat?
And you'll leave a dumb corpse.
Ah. Okay, sit. Oh, if only it was this easy. Even just getting this Dachshund potty trained has been brutal. Shake. I've never had a dog in real life that I've taught how to shake. That's good. How do you teach a dog how to shake? Speak. That one's very good as well. If you teach a dog how to speak, it's really useful, right? Because once they know the speak command, you can use that as a gateway to teaching them silence. Is that not right? Have we got any good dog trainers in chat or the comments? I think I've heard that before. Like, if you don't want a dog that barks, first you teach it to bark. So it now has that concept of what barking even is. And then you can teach it... I can't remember the full method. Anyone got any dog trainer like YouTubers they recommend? I mean, in that first year is the best time to teach a dog stuff, right? That's when they're both most receptive for learning. Are little dogs stupider than big dogs? Are they just as capable of learning things? Don't eat the Ethernet cable. Yeah, I know. I got to buy that spray for that. I really am. I'm going to get that nasty spray shit where if an animal touches it, it goes... and it never touches it again. Okay, and roll over. Yeah. Oh, that was really good as a rollover animation too. He just wiggled and then got back. So there you go. We taught the dog some tricks. That was cute. Ghosts need friends too. So speak to the ghost of a child in Whole Garden. Now, Kerry did this ages ago. So there's this babysitter event where she's trying to get everyone home. I'm guessing during the babysitter event, a ghost spawns. And you find that one ghost during that event. Now, that's quite exciting. I'm going to check on Wiki just to be sure. Ghosts need friends too. It's kind of annoying to go to a ghost when they're dead to tell them to go home and do chores. Oh, no, it's not a part of the event. The ghost... Oh, no. Yeah, it is. It is. The ghost child only appears during the Send the Castaway Children Home Before They Get in Big, Big Trouble event. It's sitting on a sea stack near Hull Garden. Oh, it's quite far away. So it's up there. Is that what they're called? Sea stacks? Oh, my God. Small dogs are just as smart. Even better, they often have more energy than the big dogs. Depends on breed, though. Yeah, that's good. It's funny, isn't it? I always just have this weird instinctual feeling that, like, oh, there you go, it's up, right on cue. That smaller creatures have less intelligence, but that's obviously not right, you know? You could have, like, a really, really short, really skinny, like, nerdy person. And she or he could be way smarter than, you know, like a fucking 7-foot towering brute.
I've got the target.
You know, it's really, it's like brain proportional to body size. That's what matters, right? And it's like brain development before birth. The reason childbirth is such a big deal in humans, and, you know, we find wide-bearing hips and everything attractive and all that shit, is because the heads get so fucking big. The heads are massive. But that's and our long development time. So I guess if you're a small dog, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? You could be just as smart as a, you know, a St. Bernard or something big, Great Dane. Here's a ghost child. Oh, hello. Oh, hi. Hi there. What are you doing up here? Playing with them kids over there. They like to visit me. Ah, well, have fun. Do they visit her, or are they mean? Why do I feel like they're mean? Because she's different.
Those inquest
Lend me your keen insight.
Stay away from them. I'm telling you. Especially their leader.
Which one's the leader, anyway? Only seen him from real far away when they first arrived. That guy with the weird smile? Not him, I hope. Something off about that guy.
So there you go. The last achievement is not even a scratch, which is bugged. Not possible to do. In the Starlit Weld, I've got to do the meta and fight some Gwendolils, but, you know, that would just be off screen. And then Wavehawk Savior, which is, again, like the events are very rare or have a strange trigger or are bugged. There's no lore in these. There's no story in these. You've seen it, guys. You've seen the expansion. With the exception of a fuck ton of details in the Renown Hearts. So, what I'm going to move on to now is the patch notes. Let's go over to the jukebox while we read these. And please tell me, guys, if the game audio is too loud with this jukebox, because I want you to be able to hear me. Will I do a Reforged playthrough? I've been getting asked that. Probably not, no. There's a lot of other things I want to do. It's really awkward because, like, 4 months ago, I was epically into Guild Wars 1. And I was really, really feeling it, and I was looking for an excuse, and I was theory crafting my way to do a pre-searing thing that would segue into a God Walking Amongst Me Immortal thing, and I was going to talk about toolbox and hero compositions, and I was going to, you know, and this and that and the other thing. So I do want to do another Guild Wars 1 playthrough at some point, and it will be a Reforged thing when that happens. But am I rushing to do Reforged? Am I rushing to do Reforged when Reforged is more about the Steam Deck and I don't have a Steam Deck? No. Am I rushing to do Reforged when it's more about playing with a controller and I'm not going to be playing with a controller? No. Am I rushing to do Reforged when it's added FXAA when I already did a series with FXAA? No. Same with EAX, same with ambient occlusion. Like, there's nothing there. There's no reason to do a Reforged. The only reason to do a Reforged LP is because there'll be, like, buzz and people will want to watch it now. But that's not good enough for me. Do I want to do a Reforged playthrough when I've got Oblivion that I want to finish? And I'm really excited to get back to Oblivion. No. Am I really excited to do Reforged when I've been wanting to get back to Heaven's Ward all year? No. Do I want to do Reforged when I've got 2 offline Let's Plays that I want to do? No. So there's just not, no. I'm sorry. It's not that I'm a Reforged hater. And if they add new content to Reforged, I'll do it. And I will cover Reforged. I will get out a controller. I will play the game. I will do a video or 2. But I'm not doing a massive fuck off 50-episode long series where I vanquish every map and I have to super speed it all while I go in the pursuit of God Walking Amongst Me Immortals or whatever. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. And I'm not doing a series that's purely just focused on story again, because I already have that. So, yeah, sorry. But that's how I am feeling about Reforged.
Time and again.
Do we have a Spud Club in PoE 2? You just picked it up and it's rubbing it. Yes, we do, actually. I haven't logged in for like 11 months, but we do, and I kind of want to. You're hyped for FF continuing, but one thing at a time. I know. I have a real problem moving from one series to another. Oblivion should be done. We should have finished Oblivion between Absolution and now. It's the same story with me every time. We were having fun, we were in a series, and then a fucking Guild Wars patch comes out, and I really am obligated to cover that. So I go, and then, you know, I'm so all or nothing. It's so hard to get back into Oblivion. And then they patched Oblivion, and I did a whole thing to get onto the patch and to get all the mods updated. And then they patched it again, and I did the whole thing again. And I just haven't... And now it's like I don't remember the controls, I don't remember exactly what it is, and I've got to rewatch the series to remember where it was. And it was a big moment because it was right as we were starting the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood. And, ah! Okay. Chill out. Let's listen to this music. Breathe. I live an easy life. I live a really easy life. A privileged life. So there was a patch, everybody. With a lot of stuff. Let's first talk about the world polish. A jukebox has been added to Pub Canark in Shipwreck Strand. Yeah, and it's cool. So one of the parts of the heart that I haven't showed on screen is you can come over and wash the dishes. And the audio, you actually hear the jukebox like over in the corner. And it really feels like washing dishes at a restaurant. I don't know if you guys have ever worked in a restaurant. But it really feels like, you know, you got the music out front and there you are, you know, making the garlic bread or doing the dishes or whatever. I did very, very, very basic work when I worked briefly at a restaurant. Anyway, it was amazing to me how much it felt like being in the industry. There we go. We'll do 1 token with Canuck there. And even this says you can't wash any more dishes today.
Showing off, Commander? I insist that you take a break before Paxton Dax feel threatened.
Yeah, he's great. Obviously, this could be spun off into its own video, but I'm not actually going to be totally exhausted with these notes because there's huge amounts of them. Fix an issue that caused achievement eligibility for the not even a scratch achievement to still be visible after the event was finished. Well, it still seems fucking bugged to me. We couldn't get it just now. Fix an issue that prevented this event from starting. Personal story. Fix an issue that caused 2 of his Garen's lines to overlap. And I actually played and experienced that, and it was nice. Additional music has been added to unscheduled departures. I can't remember which one that is. The sound palette for the legendary Aqua Breather has been extended. Don't know what that is exactly. That's quite cool. Look at all these guys. Look at all of this. Open world. Rewards from obscured chests have been rebalanced. So there was the crazy mirror farm, basically. And I'll just tell you guys, they reduced the key amount you get by about 30%, and they reduced the output of the chests by about 30%. And the amount of bitching I've seen in-game is insane. It's just fucking mental. But the farm hasn't actually changed in value. Look at that back piece. The farm hasn't changed because as soon as the nerf hit, people panic bought all the ectos and the ecto market restabilized. So yes, you get less rares, but the rares are selling for the correct price again now. So let's not be too fucking asinine about this. Actually look at the situation. Your farm is fine. It just means that other farms in the game are also still valid. So anyway, I think this was alright. I mean, I don't deny them. The money might have been shaved a bit. What else have we got here? Fix an issue allowed players to view an invisible player's in-game location by hovering over them in the friends list. That's an old bug. That's also a way you could tell if someone's added you back, I think, right? If you see their location, you know that you're on each other's lists. If you don't see a location, it means they're on character select or they haven't added you. I think. I might be wrong about that. And again, can I just apologize to everyone who I haven't added and yet I play the game with? My friends list is bugged. Fix an issue that prevented some skills from being used on world bosses, resulting in line of sight errors. Fix an issue that prevented Absolution's release of seasonal items appearing in the Legacy shop. Updated the models as some extra life pet NPCs. I guess as of the recent event. Visions of Eternity Mastery points are now the correct art. Yeah, someone dropped a comment about this. They were appearing in blue. So you see that red icon there? That was blue. They all look like Icebrood Saga things. I think it was blue. Was it blue? Was it yellow? Anyway, they're fixed, and I did notice that while I was running around. Fix an incorrect description. Fix an issue that prevented the jukebox from appearing in your home for Asura. On Shipwreck Strand, they fixed an issue that prevented crabs from appearing. Fixed an issue that caused the Tier 1 rift to be overscaled. Fixed an issue that allowed characters under level 80 to get here. Fixed an issue that caused some NPC to incorrectly display an event marker when they were just having a conversation. An inconsistent broadcast area. So there's some map-wide dialogue, I guess, or very distant dialogue that they reined in. I like to see patches like that. Fix an issue that caused recover the valuables backpack to collide with your model. I'm scanning ahead here. Again, I'm not reading all of these. Interrupted voice lines at the meta. There is a good change here, trust me, and we're going to play it in a second. Allow summons to damage the large axes in the mini dungeon. That's amazing. You could summon shit to damage the axes. Could you break the axes? I guess in engine, they're probably just like an entity running left to right, right? With knockbacks around it. Kind of like a, you know, a charging risen abomination or something. Fix some achievements. Fixed some crabs that floated in the air. Prevented players picking up a rental fishing rod. Oh, fishing I've still got to do. I still don't have that legendary fish. I'll probably work on that tonight, actually. Starlit World increases the amount of real Gweldel that spawn in the meta event. Even with the additional spawns, trust me, it's quite slow. Caused the boss camera to disappear in the meta. By the way, a detail of the meta that I haven't talked about is once the platform raises, if you look under where the platform was, but while the meta is still going on, you know, not when it's a chest room at the end, but while the meta is going on, it's like a crazy, like violent, chaotic storm in there. It's quite interesting. Balance adjustments have been made. Adjusted the pacing of one of the escorts, which was very long and slow. I think they probably sped that up. Additional communication at the end of the canon event. Adjusted the name of the Great Choya race to better communicate where it begins. Mounts fix an issue that prevented the Skimmer from swimming backwards when underwater. Slipstream boost, the cooldown's been increased to 25 seconds. It was that OP, and I didn't even get to enjoy it at that level. Updated the glider that we just unlocked, skin text. Fix an issue that caused some items to have missing icons. Fix an issue that caused the mini Gweldel to be too small. Blah, blah, blah. Corrected the name of a song. Zolturk's bonus event item inventory in Lion's Arch has been updated with items for last year's bonus events. Bonus events. You know, there's a mini that I want. It's extra life right now, right? And so on the gem store, they are selling extra life stuff, including this, right? The 2024 donation bundle package, which I didn't buy last year. And you see it has this novelty, this pedestal chair. This year was a mini, the Guardian Angel Blish. In 2023, there was... where is it? Let me see. Extra... Oh, it's not on the list anymore. What? There was one from 2023. Did they remove it from the list? And I can't buy it. I'm so sad. I'm really invested in getting all the minis, and they didn't bring it back. They only brought the pedestal back, and I was really, really sad about that. Turtles, Shadowstone Pear, SER. These are the new. Oh, by the way, doing one of the events, I got this, the mini Medusoid stinger. There's the preview of it. I got that from Starlit World, just a random mini that dropped. It's worth only a few silver, so not worth much. And yes, I will be buying those minis and the emotes and all that stuff down the line. But the truth is, guys, it's a lot of gold and it's a lot of currencies to finish it all off. It's not going to make it into the LP. The homestead. A portal to the Shipwreck Strand has been added. Now, that's only a one-way portal, by the way. It's from your homestead to here. There's not a new exit to this place. It just dumps you near the Dark Leviathan at Isgaren's Astral Ward portal that's there. They moved the Winter's Day gift tree to the Treasure Island. Moved some nodes. Relocated mocks. Relocated. Fixed an issue that's caused some cats to wander into the ocean. Fractals. Added a confirmation step when commissioning food or utility golems. World vs. World added a new matchmaking tab to World vs. World UI that replaces World Restructuring Beta. This is a new location to select teams and battle guilds that should be more approachable to new players. So can I actually see that? I think I saw that in game. Hold on. Streaming is difficult. Turn that off. Like if I just click World vs. World. No. World vs. World. Team required. You must select a team to continue. And here we've got it. Matchmaking. Team and battle guild selection. So I can see that Spud 1 is on Palawadan at the moment. Spud 1 is also on Mirror of Lissa. Or there are Spuds there. I have one friend on the Frost Citadel. I have another friend on the Mirror of Lissa. So I'm going to go Mirror of Lissa. Time until end of season lockout. I just click the team. Here are all my guilds. I love that I got Junlai chests. It's so good. I'm going to say the Spud Club. I will stay for the duration. There you go. For the next season, I will be teamed with the Spud Club. This is also weird, you know, like, this update's so whiffed. Do you know what? We used to have regular meetings with the GMs in Spud. And I still remember the very last one. There had basically been like 8 months or something, and we hadn't got together and talked. I mean, we were still doing things, and people were active, and they were running guilds, and they were huge support, and so on and so on, but we weren't meeting up because there's nothing to talk about, really. And it had been about 8 months we hadn't met up. I'd barely come to any guild missions. I was feeling really bad. And this news dropped. It was like early Icebrood Saga of the alliances. And I remember we had one last meeting. I was like, oh yeah, when this comes in, we can do it. We can do lots of world versus world stuff with Spud, and we can really push for it. It'll be really good. A nice moment for the community, something to do together. And oh, how it went. Never happened. And I really do just think it's because all the implementation they went with in the end was just not appetizing or understandable. Anyway, lastly, and here's the good bit. It's off screen. Hold on. Look at this. Personal story. Fix an issue at the Ratasum Port Authority that allowed Flax's golems to be led outside his office. Fix an issue there as well that caused one of the refuse piles objects to play an incorrect animation when interacted with. Fix an issue for unscheduled departures. The unending ocean that caused allied NPCs aboard the Martingale to continue bringing water buckets to a fire after it had been extinguished. Several pacing and clarity improvements to the fog section of the boat. Decrease the number of coalesced magic orbs required, which is excellent, because that's what well, if you remember when I played it, I said this has been fun, but it's too many cycles. So they've reduced that. Added a hunt pop-up to give you more clarity about how to get up the crow's nest. Added a slight delay to the directional pulsing effect when it first appears, so it isn't easily missed. Slightly increased the frequency of the pulsing to better communicate the mechanics of that section. Added announcements that display when the direction chosen more clearly communicate the player's direction that they chose was correct or incorrect. Increased the movement speed of the ship to allow them to move more quickly without causing desynchronization. So they sped it all up. That instance was already epic. It had that slight downside. They fucking fixed it, guys. How good is that? As we close the Let's Play here, they've patched and improved that part of the story. Fix an issue that caused the marker for a quest step to be displayed on the map, despite the associated quest step not being visible. Caused the boundary meant to keep players out of the water, sometimes encroached on playable space. I had that bug when I played it with Kerry. Actually, on all 3 of my playthroughs now, I've had that. Actually, not my first one, but my co-op playthroughs, every time I've had that. And that's fixed now. Hint text has been adjusted for those story steps where there's collections. You know, where I've had to go to the wiki, or just wait for Pete to mail me, or wait for Isgarin to mail me. They've updated all the hint text to make it easier and better. That's one of my biggest points of feedback. And they've actually adjusted it already. It's only been 3 weeks since the expansion came out, and look at this. Big, tangible improvements. Players can now choose to have more specific story hints for collections drawn on their map immediately, just by interacting with Pete, Melissa, or Isgarin at those phases. So I don't know how those play, and I'll never be able to see because it's once per account, but I assume that's good. Fix an issue that caused Scout Yakul from having a consistent appearance. I hadn't noticed that. That does happen in Guild Wars sometimes, by the way. Like the way that they have like a dynamic NPC generation system that sometimes gets applied to the wrong things, and it means that NPCs look different than they should. Fix an issue in Beneath the Canopy command complex that prevented Engineer Brizzy's dialogue from playing if the instance owner wasn't the first person to enter her room. I never had that. Fix some incorrect creature description text. Fix an issue that caused certain rock piles in the ruins of the old world from displaying correct visuals. I don't know if we had that. Fix an issue in Fumbling in the Dark Lost Basilica that prevented book text from appearing when interacting with the final tomb. Aha! That one is big, guys. Remember the big plot hole about Ancora and the fact that Liz knows who it is and all that shit? They fixed that, and I'm going to play that in-game in a second and see what that's like. That is a huge fix. That is the biggest fix. Adjust the pacing of certain steps completion in Fumbling in the Dark to avoid dialogue lines being prematurely interrupted, which I had on one playthrough, but not the other 2. Fix overgrown thicket that could stop story progress if the player entered the water while holding the neural interface bundle, causing it to be destroyed. Fix an issue that would cause certain story steps to be revealed out of order. Added a dedicated story step to the beginning of Path of Divinity to allow a certain character's communications call to restart if the player waypoints before the dialogue was in progress. That's a nice fix. That's for players who are super zoomer-brained and rushing and they miss dialogue. Fix an issue that prevented map markers from properly displaying for 3 interactive objects in the doorstep of Divinity. I assume those are the pressure pads. I kind of liked having to look for them myself, but okay. Fix an issue that caused the interactive golem parts to sometimes appear in the incorrect animation. Added the confidential missive letter featured in the Beneath the Canopy Command Complex story chapter to the same location in the open world. So you can now read that letter after you've done the story, so you can read it at your leisure. And look at this. Added a delay before dialogue continues in the command complex to allow time to read the missive. That's also another really good change, and that was like the #1 thing you guys responded to me about. You guys were all like, WP, be careful, you're going to have to screenshot it really quickly when you pick it up, the dialogue's going to go, it's a really bad moment. Remember? So many of you guys warned me about that, and guess what? Arenanet have fixed it. No one else will experience that. They fucking fixed it. Adjustments have been made to a number of dialogue animations across all chapters. Bravo! Woo! Bravo! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! It's a good patch. It is a good patch. So, yeah, and let's see how it plays now. I'm going to go and replay that instance here on Liss. And I'm going to see what happens when we interact with the tomb. I think one of you kind people did actually link me this on Discord, but I didn't read it because I knew I wanted to do it in game. Pal says, I'm glad I haven't done this yet. Yeah, look, I wouldn't say it was a mistake to play this expansion on release, but there were a couple of little iffy moments, and they're resolved. The only issues that are still there now are same old things about Guild Wars 2 storytelling, Guild Wars 2 quantity, you know, whether the right conversations are happening and so on. But even there, I think Visions of Eternity has made improvements. All the back and forth between Kanak and Saida regarding Vlox has been excellent, and you know, there's been plenty of. It's funny. They've always been very good at writing a funny game. You know, it's entertaining. The lore's been good. Now, if Isgaren's up, by the way, we still need to see this Seer conversation. Still. I don't know how regularly this. Oh, I see a door before me. Is he in it? There's no time limit. Is this just open forever now? Did we just read this on the patch notes that this is open forever now? Oh my god, we can do it. Oh, look, it's all... Oh, wait, yeah, okay. And the orbs are in here, aren't they? Oh my god, wait, Isgaren is just ready to talk. Hold on, I want to talk to your...
Oh. What a pleasant
brethren
surprise.
first. Oh, I feel like the map rewards are so well calibrated this expansion. I really like getting these raw enchanted stones. Okay, so this all... I'm going to listen to both because they were both good. These are conversations between two seers. One of them is a snob, one's not.
The dwarven clan leader seemed ensorcelled by the ley line discussion. I wonder if she can even grasp it.
Must you condescend to everyone? Clan ways, delving expeditions are well documented, even among our records. They've mapped more of Tyria's deeper networks than any other clan.
So you're saying my research would benefit from dwarven expertise? I will reach out then.
Look at that, condescending. Sorry, and just self-interested. Just self-interested. But I like these because what I don't want is the Seers to just be like these cartoons that are like, oh, they're all like this, they're all this, they're all that. And, you know, so it's important. That's a conversation between two Seers that are ultimately disagreeing. They are disagreeing about that, and I think that's beautiful. And it's just like what they did with the Massart as well. Arenanet are doing very well with that. Okay, there's this orb.
Did you hear? Sidony will be hosting some of their friends here. Such a rare honor.
Wasn't there a third one in the back of the room?
Yes. A keeper tears Alkesh, a dwarven clan leader, Bruna Wailit, and a Jotan astronomer, Sepho the Dream Spinner. They'll be limited to approved areas with a permanent escort. Only see what Sidony intends for them to see.
So there you go. We've got them.
Good use for
Kextra Large says, I'm so worried about the Guild Wars 3 Unreal Engine 5 situation. UE5 needs lots of work to actually perform and look somewhat decent. Ion was looking and performing pretty shitty on my Ryzen, on my 4060. As far as I understand, and I'm no expert on this, should we go into the sewers? That's like the last thing that we didn't really do in here. Here we go. I'm no expert. The thing that always happens with Unreal... Oh, look, we actually got an achievement for that. Dubious Exit. Nice. People say, oh, it's terrible, it's badly optimized, hate it, hate it, hate it. And then other people say, no, 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 it's just on the engineers of the game. It's on the game, it's on whether their engineers are optimizing, whether they are prioritizing visuals above everything else, whether they actually take optimization seriously, and so on. And you know, as an addendum to that, there's a bit of a thing about, you know, whether it's better fitting for open world games or more narrow focused games, as I talked about with like Halo, the Halo remake the other day. So on that topic, when we think about Guild Wars, okay, here's my view on it. My view after 15 years with this franchise. I don't think we can be informed. Like, you say you're worried, right? But I have nothing to go on. What we have to go on is this. 20 years ago, 22 years ago, 23 years ago, they had incredible engineers that basically invented the idea of microservices and online server architecture, and that allowed them to run an MMO very cheaply, no subscription fee, no downtime. Really good. They were way ahead of the curve. They figured some excellent shit out. And you know, they had success with that. And if you watch the Reforged streams, you know, SCW was talking just the other day about how, you know, it wasn't until like 2011 they went to a conference and they heard the term microservices and they were like, oh, that's the name for what we've been doing for years. I see. Like so they were very, very good at that. Guild Wars 2, I think a lot of that expertise, that incredible engineering talent is still on display. Now, I know that a lot of us say, oh, it's really badly optimized, right? But that's not really Guild Wars' fault. For the hardware that existed when it released, it does run very, very well as a game. Yes, it's dated now. Yes, it doesn't take as advantage as many threads as you'd want now. Yes, it doesn't fully tap into things now, right? But for where it released, they were bang on. They made a beautiful game that ran on a fuck ton of different systems. And on top of that, talking about like the engine capabilities and what they did, look at the action-oriented combat they made. Look at the fluidity of the combat. Look at how they broke away from GCD-based combat, which has its pros, you know. Look at the movement that they had. Even going a bit later into Heart of Thorns with the introduction of gliding and all of that, they created genuinely active, really good combat with lots of dynamic and fast-moving pieces with the combo fields and, you know, conditions, stacking intensity and all that kind of shit. There's a lot there, a lot, all right? And World versus World was laggy, yes, and the culling was very badly optimized, yes. But I still see a lot of really good engineering talent, all right? For especially Guild Wars 1 and secondarily Guild Wars 2. But hold on. The Guild Wars 1 stuff was years ago. The Guild Wars 2 stuff was years ago. Now, I'm not one of these people that says they're a whole new studio. They're all different people there now, right? But there will, like, the talent force that's there and what they understand and what they don't understand. Just because you were a wizard building the Guild Wars 1 microservices, right, doesn't mean you know anything about modern development on Unreal Engine that, like, a lot of the kids are learning while they're at university, right? At the end of the day, Guild Wars 1 and 2 did end up riddled with so much spaghetti, it's brutal to keep them going, right? But all projects kind of do that, right? So I'm not one of these people that says, oh, Arenanet isn't what they used to be, blah, 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 blah. I see no evidence one way or the other. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know how they would handle a new game. Maybe they'd be really good at it because of past experiences, but then that shit was a long time ago, guys. It was ages ago. Maybe they'd be really bad at it. I have no idea. And I mean that in the most neutral, least judgy way. I think that and that is my informed opinion. My informed opinion is that we can't know. That is honestly how I feel about it. I mean that in a neutral way. You say you're worried. I'm not worried. I'm going to see what they do. I think there's every bit of chance that they'll treat... so going back to Unreal Engine, right? Word on the street is it's down to the studio. Word on the street is there are games that are very good with Unreal Engine, and there are games that are very bad. What kind of studio will Arenanet be? You're worried? You think that they wouldn't do it well? I'm not worried, because I don't know. I really don't fucking know. And trust me, if there was anything press-wise or product release-wise or whatever over these years that pushed me one way or the other, I'd be talking about it. But there's just not, I don't think. I mean, we can talk about the Shadow update here in Guild Wars 2. I don't think it really has much relevance. We can talk about Guild Wars Reforged. I don't think it has much relevance. I really don't. I think we're in a position of ignorance, and you know, I'm a fan of the game and the franchise, so I'm going to wait and see. Okay, what am I doing? Fucking hell. Wow, that was a real rant. Like an actual rant in which I completely lost sight of where I was, who I was, what the plan was. We're supposed to be in the story instance. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, story, Visions of Eternity, Fumbling in the Dark. Restart this. Oh, I could just click continue, I guess. Please tell me I get a purple marker there already. Okay, good. I do. Alright, once more with feeling, guys. We're going to do Fumbling in the Dark. We've done it twice on screen already now. We did it with the original story. We did it for the speed run. And now we're doing it to see the missing chapter. WP Fugue State. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I've been going into those lately, trying to play Conduit.
We need to gather up every fragment we can find in each area.
Oh shit, what am I doing? Not that. Jesus Christ. Your worry was a good conversation starter. Yeah, so look, I'm just saying, take heart from me there. You know, don't worry so much. They could be really, really, really great. But we just don't know, you know. Okay, I'll give you another reason why I'm kind of neutral on it, and maybe there's a reason to be slightly negative. A lot of their other projects have ended up failing for one reason or another. But do we know whether that's based on the technical side of it, the engineering of it, or is it because of product management, budget, scope?
A sacred temple of my people built in better times. No outsider has ever set foot within before now.
Oh, I didn't tell you guys.
I don't think that's true. We didn't get here first.
Then let's get inside and get some answers before it's too late.
I don't know if I mentioned this. I did get a Pixel in the end, guys. I just got a new phone. I got a Pixel. My first new phone in like 8 years. In a long time. I was starting to have problems with my old phone, which was... it's a good phone. It was a nice phone. But like it wasn't getting updates anymore. And so like in the UK there's like a government app that you can get that can like biometrically scan your passport and do all kinds of fancy things, and you can use it when you're applying for different services, blah 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 blah. And I couldn't use the app anymore. It wouldn't let me install it on the phone, and like so I did have to upgrade. And anyway, it was just Cyber Monday and there was actually a pretty good deal, so I did just get a new phone. I was setting it up last night. And do you know what? I honest to God, I'm not a fanboy, I promise. I promise I'm not a fanboy. as I was setting it up, I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, it's powerful and it's fast. Oh, I can get apps. What should I get? And I always install Plants vs. Zombies on my phones. And do you know what honestly went through my mind? I honestly thought it would be cool if there was a Guild Wars game I could install right now. I honestly fucking thought that, because I was thinking, what app would I use that actually uses the power of this phone, right? Like a modern phone. Like, because, you know, like when you're using like a Quest 3 or something, you know, that's a mobile chip, but they can run beautiful 3D rendered. You know, people play gachas on their phones. Like, you can run Genshin on your phone and shit. Isn't that right? These are like, and I think that would be really novel for me. I want to play a 3D game on my phone. I want to experience that. But I don't play any of them, and I don't want to get into any gachas or anything. So I was thinking, what could I play? And I seriously thought, fuck, man. If Arenanet did get one of their mobile projects out, I'd have something to put on this. Honestly and sincerely, little moment there where I was like, I want to play an Arenanet mobile game. Netflix has a bunch of games for mobile? Really? Yeah, if you guys have any recommendations, let me know, because I'm woefully out of date. You know the other game I was thinking about installing? Fallout Shelter. I've always wanted to play Fallout Shelter, but I heard it's microtransactioned out the ass. I don't know. Does anyone have any good, like, city building or base building or, you know, settlement simulation games, anything like that? RimWorld, but on the phone, that kind of thing. I think I'd love that shit. And watch my little people grow as time goes by. But, like, ethical, not horse shit microtransactions everywhere. From a company I can trust, you know. I will happily buy a game if it has no microtransactions.
We face. Let's get moving while we have a window.
You recommend Doodle Jump and Jetpack Joyride. Those all sound,
Oh, sort of appears the defenses are still active. Not in full strength, clearly.
There is no shot you're wanting a Guild Wars 2 mobile app after roasting a commenter venting about the iPad app. No. That's not fair. First of all, I didn't roast that commenter. I said he was holding them. Well, that commenter wasn't upset that there's no iPad app. Who gives a fuck about an iPad app? I wouldn't want an iPad app either, right? An extended experience thing? But that's not a game, and I have efficiency stuff that I can run in any browser, all right? It's not about that. What I specifically said to that user was that it's funny he'd cherry-picked 2 tiny moments. Polymock was on the list as well. 2 tiny moments over the history of fucking 20 years of game development. That's what I quote-unquote roasted. But I didn't even roast him. I just said, you know, you've got to let things go at some point. It's not about the app. Surely you see that. Surely you see that's not the same thing. Was there a 14 mobile game recent? I heard that they're doing a Realm Reborn, which worries the fuck out of me, because I still haven't beaten Endwalker. The Netflix Black Mirror Lemmings app is fun after you watch the episode. I really liked season 1 and 2 of Black Mirror, but I honestly thought it fell so hard off. There were so many more misses than hits in Black Mirror as it got into the latest series. You could just feel it, you know. It's like shows like Stranger Things, where you can tell the creatives have a lot of really good ideas and spend a lot of time at the start. But there is that moment where they've run out now. But they've got this big thing on their hands, so they have to keep going, and the quality falls off. Stranger Things Season 1 is one of the best seasons of television ever made. It's up there with like True Detective or whatever. It's really good.
I fear you would be disappointed.
And then it just completely falls off, you know. It's like they say that about bands as well, you know, like their first albums are always excellent, and then they have to start churning them out every year, and very quickly they run out of talent. You like to play text-based games? Some of them can be management sims. Well, I want something that, like, you know, looks fancy and 3D, or I don't know, or boots fast. I don't know, something that really utilizes the fact that I have a strong phone that otherwise I wouldn't be touching. The only game you bought on your phone was Vampire Survivors? Ah, now that's a good game. They did a VR update for that recently, and it caused all the like Zoomers to start bitching, but I think it's fine. I'm well up for VR updates to games where they're still effectively the 2D experience, but you get to play them on a virtual stereoscopic tabletop or whatever. That's fine. It's not a problem. Right, here we go.
Didn't expect to find these inside a temple.
Some deaths have more spiritual significance than others.
Right, okay, so the story as I know it, they don't actually explain who these three are. I assume they're the three that died to make Ancora. But there is no lore. You interact with all of these tombs and you get nothing. And after the last one, Liss, there's a trap. And Isgarin says, oh, this one's here for me. And then Liss says, oh my god, this is because you're exiled. Is this where you did it? Is this where you ascended waiting sorrow? But to get there, you kind of have to be very into the story. So let's see. And then after that, Liss is talking about Ancora a lot. And we leave the instance. And she says to Vlox, hey, I know about Ancora. And it's all just a bit like, what? Where does that word even come from? So there's some missing story actually talking about Ancora. Let's see what they got for us. I'm hoping for a lot. If it's just like a couple of sentences, I'll be disappointed. I acknowledge that it will have paved over that gap, but I will be disappointed.
The inscription is too worn to be legible.
Balatro and Burrito Bison are your go-to on mobile. You should get more games on mobile beginning with B, especially since you're BRSPs. There's another B there. Speaking of TV, I remember from ages ago, you had opinions about Clarkson's Farm. You started watching it recently. What was your take? Ages ago? I swear I was talking about that when we were playing Oblivion. Yeah, I thought it was an alright show. Again, I hate to say the same thing every time. I swear I do say it with meaning every time. But I think no, actually, I quite liked it. The most recent season had a lot of like jeopardy, and it was very stressful. And a lot of people condemn the latest season and say, oh, it's not good because I watched this to be in my happy place. And oh, I don't like the drama. And like, fuck those people. Fuck you. All right. Yes, the drama is good. It's meaningful art. It's meaningful TV. Jesus Christ. Actually reviewing it badly because it dares to be engaging. Oh, it's not just happy and relaxed and talking about the great British countryside. Fuck off. No, it's good. I don't deny that the most recent season clearly had some bullshit in it to contrive that drama. Those two people that he hired to manage it that then left. But no, I thought it was it's an alright show. It's an okay show. I mean, it's not the greatest thing, but it's an alright show, yeah. Okay, here we go. So, lore. That's alright. Sorry I don't have more opinions. If you called me about it earlier.
Of Dividium Nava. Fallen on the doorstep of divinity.
More defenses? How did the inquest not set them off already?
Okay, we still have this scripting issue.
Because this one was intended for me. Power flows to the weapon through the ritual relics. They must be disrupted.
It's funny, I wonder if in playtesting, the devs caught this pacing issue and cut it for that reason. Only to launch and realize it was a major cut, and they had made the mistake anyway in the Inquest Lab instance too. So they got the worst of both worlds. I don't know. Alright, tomb inscription. The inscription on the tomb has been worn away by time. Because you know what's interesting? The idea that there could be a bug that just gets rid of lore like this. I wonder if that bug has happened before, but no one knows. Because it gets forgotten about. The community's none the wiser. Like, how often might it be that you interact with something and it just doesn't happen to be pivotal enough to realize there's a gap? You know? Anyway, so the inscription on the tomb has been worn away by time, but a few segments remain legible. For those honoured souls lost in the rite of Dividium Nava. Oh, so by the way, these are not the people that died to make Ancora. Because Ancora is used to ascend people. In the rite. So these are just people who died in the rite. They're not the people that died to make this thing, even though there's 3 tombs and 3 things on the staff and all that. ... fallen on the doorstep of divinity. Blessed Ancora that lifts... ... There you go. So there's the word Ancora. They have fallen that we might ascend. You cannot make out anything else. Okay, so this is a very little tweak here. Okay, so it's what I said. They've paved over the hole because the word Ancora is there. That should be written in bold as well. Personally, I think I would bold Ancora so it catches people's eye and they know to remember it. But yeah, okay, so there you go. And then we kill the thing, and then you do the thing, and then you do the other thing, and then you dodge Seb's missiles. And you sleep well at night, content that you have beaten the expansion. That bug must have happened a lot in Barbanesos. Oh, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? Oh my god, I don't remember this. Is it because I'm in the beam? Ah! Don't stand in the beam and do it. That was not a good idea.
An ancient mountain.
You love the great British countryside? I was seeing a thing last night where they were talking about... So in the 1936 Olympics, these were the Hitler Olympics. They were hosted by Germany. And I think most of... First of all, there's an interesting story about that most Americans get wrong. What was his name? Jesse Owens was a black guy that performed in the Olympics for America, and he won America 4 gold medals. And the story that Americans will tell you about it is about how Hitler snubbed him and didn't give him like acknowledgement or anything because he was black, because he's racist, and because he wasn't a part of the Aryan race and all that shit, and he got snubbed. And that's all that Americans talk about. But the true story is kind of like even more fucked up in a way. What actually happened was Hitler on day 1 snubbed almost everyone. He only congratulated German athletes. Those were the only people at the entire Olympics Hitler would congratulate, the German athletes. And so people said to him, hey, this is a bit disrespectful. You shouldn't do this. You should either congratulate everyone or no one. And so Hitler, cunt that he was, said, okay, I won't congratulate anyone. So he snubbed everyone. He didn't specifically snub Jesse Owens because he was black. And don't forget, America at that point was far more racist than most of Europe. You know, we all got rid of slavery hundreds of years before. So it wasn't really about that. It was just Hitler was a prick in general. But then this guy, and here's the sad bit, and it's really sad that Americans don't focus on this. Hitler went back. I think Truman was president at the time. Sorry, Hitler went back. The athlete went back, and Truman never said anything to him. Never said thanks for winning four gold medals for us, our country. His own government, his own president didn't say anything, and he had to ride on the back of the bus, and he couldn't do it. It was fucking crazy. It's not like a story about Hitler and the Aryan race. It's just another example of American racism and the American hysteria about it. It's fucking crazy. Sorry, I'm being quite xenophobic myself there, anti-American. But yeah. Anyway, why am I talking about this? Oh, I'm talking about this because at that same Olympics, all the winners were given oak saplings, oak trees, and the athletes got to plant them. So there's a bunch of oak trees out there in the world that are Hitler trees, basically. And a lot of people, once the war kicked off, they just cut the saplings down. They got rid of them. But a couple of them survive. So there's like one monument to Hitler in the UK, effectively, which is one of these Hitler trees, which is quite interesting. But why am I talking about that? Is because a German in chat just mentioned the great British countryside, and everyone always talks about oak trees as like this English thing. Oh, you know, they're always going about oaks in our country, but they're not. You know, oak trees associated with Germany back in the 1930s, and it was the big thing from that Olympics. So there you go. There's a huge fucking tangent. That's one of the worst tangents I've ever given you. I like how I get a completely unrelated comment there. But there you go. The great British countryside with its oak trees.
In the dark while you kept this to yourself.
I did not know. I merely
Germany had a bad meta in these times. Oh, that's so fucking Zuma cooked.
Have you forgotten Maban's words already? From now on, if you want to be part of this, you give us the entire truth.
Surely we can at least
wait, have I checked the benchmarks? What benchmarks?
To a safer location?
I actually, I did see last night. I was going to tell you about this, but I need to practice it myself. The current conduit rotation that we had been practicing was a 58. The guy that made it also made a 59 with slightly different gear and a slightly different trait, but it's not a rotation. It's like every single button is set up, and there's like every element of every loop is slightly tweaked. Like, this time you're in Malik's, it's 2 Banish Enchantments. This time you're in Malik's, it's 1 Banish Enchantment, but with a dash. This time you're in, it's none. This time you're in, it's this. Like, it's not a loop. It's learn every single button in a row, and you can squeeze out this extra 1,000. So I don't know whether it's really worth it for a really long fight against Ura. But maybe some of the principles are alright there. Oh, that's what you're talking about. Oh, see, I thought Snowcrow specifically didn't put it on their website because it's not meaningful. Yeah. I don't know. I tried it, but I haven't really like got to grips with it. Like my best number still is 56. My best number is 56.8. I've really wanted to get 58, and then I was going to post about it, but I cannot get the 58. The 57, sorry. I cannot get the 57. As for the other 2K, I've got no fucking clue. I think it must be ping, right? Like, ping's going to be a thing. Like, I have a ping of 40 right now while streaming, usually about 20, 27. Kerry gets a ping of 9. She's on the east coast of the United States, and she gets a ping of 9. I mean, even at my best, I didn't get a ping of 9. You thought I just went more into torment? No. It's quite precise. It's adding banished enchantment in. Yeah. You can't get above 55? Well, I can probably help you with that. Well, maybe not, actually. It's just... I don't know. I don't know where those extra numbers come from. I really don't. But look, it's more than enough damage to beat Ura, so whatever. All right, guys. I'm rambling. That's everything I have scheduled, really. So there you go, patch notes, all the achievements, a little bit of extra lore. I know this kind of feels like a bit of a filler episode, but I've had fun. Everything we've talked about, I think, has been interesting. Join me next time. There are 2 more things to do. The final Castoran culture. It's called A Magical Journey. We will get a Shadowstone rock. It's presumably going to be about the Seers. So check that out, guys. This looks huge, and I've been told that you have to do events as a part of it. So I'm a bit worried about it, but Kerry said you can do it really quick. So I trust her, and we'll see how that goes. And in addition to that, there is the Aqua Breather story. I don't even know where that's listed or where we start that. I guess it's under legendary stuff. So 2 final things. They are hopefully substantial. And where is it? Collections, legendary weapons. No, this is all just this. Oh, because it's armor, obviously. Here you go. Acquiring Agalius. So I will do that. And there's the Agalius container. 24 steps. And apparently it's a real story. And apparently will be good. So join me there, guys. Oh, by the way, I got this Arms of the People box. These are rare. They're quite expensive. I'll probably end up buying my way through this collection if prices continue to drop. I don't think Liz really has anything else. I finished all the chromatic resin now, so I'm just selling these boxes. I probably should have sold them first because this price is just going to keep tanking. Still about 20 silver. Yeah, I got some fish to get. And that's it. We really are at the end of VOE. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Let's not labour it anymore. And yeah, I hope you all have a good evening. Drop me messages. Recommend me some phone games. Oh, and Q&A stuff as well, of course. Anything about VOE? Any disagreements? I'd love to hear them. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Take care. WP, are we going to get a story speculation at the end? And also, what's your take with 2.5 X-Packs now? I think each one has got better than the last. We had to wait an additional 3 months for this one, but I feel like that's okay. I feel like they're still in the right space with it. There you go. That's my opinion right now. But you know, the verdict is still out on this one. We've got to wait for the next patches. So yeah. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.